The UTSA Roadrunners baseball team is headed to the Super Regionals for the first time in program history. Runners were undefeated in Austin this past weekend, beating Kansas State once, Texas twice. UTSA will face the winner of the Los Angeles Regional, either UCLA or UC Irvine. In the NFL, the Madden 26 cover athlete has been released. Eagles running back and Super Bowl champion Saquon Barkley just jinxed the Eagles.
SportsCenter brought to you by Synergenics. Book your appointment at fixmylowteam.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
A Blitz crew that is recovering from a great weekend up in Arlington, courtesy of the Texas Rangers and the St. Louis Cardinals, by the way. Hi, everybody. It is the Blitz. Happy Monday to you. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minix to my right. James Pledger is producing this extravaganza.
And you say recovery, huh?
Recovery. Mm-hmm. Yes, I would say that is appropriate.
Should have went to yesterday's game.
I'm glad we didn't.
You know, the Rangers won that series against your Cardinals.
Yes.
There were a lot of people on Saturday questioning your fandom, my friend.
You know, there are more keyboard warriors out there that have a lot of should we just get into it?
Yeah.
Hey, a lot of people know it on social media. The Rangers, we were able to sit in AA Best Bail Bond suite there at the Globe Life Field, and it's a great place. You're right behind home plate, field level. You go in, everything's free.
The Lexus Club, the food, you name it. Prime Rib was kind of it. There was Chinese food, ballpark favorites, chili dogs.
Pizza,
you name
all
it. Pizza,
of stuff, yeah.
And it's taken care of. The alcohol in the suite taken care of, in the best seats in the house. It's an incredible experience.
All of that stuff is true. Now, I went in with my Cardinals jersey on.
You did.
My wife had a nice Cardinals T-shirt on.
Uh-huh.
And we were all ready to go. You and Joanna had your Rangers swag on.
Yep.
You guys had that. So, I don't know, we're about 10 minutes from the first pitch.
Mm-hmm.
And Minix wasn't in the suite. It was just me, Maggie, and Joanna. And this nice lady walks in there, and she says, you can't wear that in here. And I went, oh, okay. I'm like, okay, and Minix, where the hell are you? Well, you put this woman up to this stuff. And I laughed, and she goes, no, really, you can't wear that opposition gear in the suite. And I'm like, where's Jason? I looked over at Joanna and said, where's Jason?
Yeah.
This is hilarious.
And
this is funny.
Maybe some words that you can't use on radio. Now, somebody tried to tell you. Somebody tried to tell you. Well, and you didn't believe me.
No, of course not, because it's the dumbest rule I've ever heard of.
I think it's a great rule.
It's the dumbest rule I've ever heard of.
It is a great rule.
So I finally looked at this lady, and again, very nice, and I go, are you for real?
Sort of.
And I said that just like that.
With some other F words.
No, there were no F words. There were no F words. And she goes, yeah, unfortunately I am. And I went, okay. So she said, what size do you wear? So they got to get me and Maggie some different swag. So they do that, and I put on a Rangers jersey, not liking it very much. And I looked like an idiot because I'm cheering for the Cardinals with a Rangers jersey on. But anyway, it's the way that it is. But all of these people on social media, because I post the before and after, it's like, they left the suite. What kind of fan are you? What do you do? And I'm like, dude, did I mention it's the best seat in the house?
It is.
There is free booze.
Yep.
Free food.
Yep.
And we didn't pay a dime for any of it.
Yep.
So
you'll wear what they want you to wear.
If that makes me a non-fan, then so be it. And anybody out there wouldn't have left that suite.
Nobody would have left that suite, and you'd wear what you want them to wear. Here's the thing. I love the rule. Now, honestly, I didn't know it was actually a rule. I know that my friend Albert has had other people have to change, but like Astros in the playoffs, and I thought, okay, that's just for the playoffs. But it's in their contracts that the owner of the Texas Rangers, those field-level suites on TV the entire game, don't eat a hot dog facing the field because you're going to end up being a meme, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
And it's you're not allowed to wear opposition stuff in there. Now, I'll say this. You've been in there before, and you've worn a Cardinal shirt.
Yes.
My wife, who's from Seattle, has been in there for a Mariners series wearing Mariners gear, and I haven't seen them change. But I do know they've done it, and apparently they're enforcing it even more now. But your jersey, so bold, and it was the national TV game on Fox.
It was all of those things. Yeah, the last time I was in there was just a red shirt with a logo that you really couldn't see. And I don't know what Joanna's Mariners shirt looked like, but
Mariners T-shirt.
Well, they didn't enforce it then, but they did on Saturday, and so
you got yourself a free Rangers jersey, and it's not a cheapy jersey. I mean,
it's a real jersey.
Technically, because they bring it, it had an on sale tag.
It did.
But there's a $150 jersey that was on sale, and it's yours. Same with they brought Maggie a couple different options, and very nice.
Oh, very nice. The lady was very nice.
And the gear free, very nice. So I'm kind of excited. You got a free jersey. Hang it here in the studio, or
I may because I'll never wear it again.
Well, you will for the next Rangers game you go to.
No. I'll have on a Whataburger shirt, or I don't know, welcome to Buc-ee's or something else. I will have that. I won't have that Rangers jersey on. Unless, I won't. Not even if. No, I won't.
If we're there and the Rangers aren't playing the Cardinals,
no, I can't do it.
What do you mean you can't do it? You claim to not be a Cowboy fan, yet you have more Cowboy gear than Tennessee Titans gear.
Well, that's different. That's different.
Well, how's that different?
Well, it's different because I've been covering the Cowboys for about 30 years now.
You've been covering the Rangers for about 30 years now.
Not really. I mean, because baseball, honestly, is not that popular in San Antonio, or it's down the list.
We are the Rangers affiliate.
We are the Rangers affiliate, and while everybody was nice, Isabella, who was the PR girl that met us and made sure everything was okay, she was fantastic.
Yep.
And the hospitality was great. I just honestly thought I was being punked.
You were.
I guess. But now I know you can't do that. You can't do that. So let me ask you a question, Minix. So we go to a Rangers game and sit in that suite, and they're playing the Astros. You're wearing Rangers gear?
No.
Let's see that. Okay.
I'm wearing a blue shirt.
Yeah.
Although I'm a fan of both. So to sit, if my choice is, because I'm more Astros than Rangers, but if my choice, sit in this suite and wear a Ranger shirt or don't sit in the suite, I'd wear a Ranger shirt.
Absolutely.
I mean,
and anybody to suggest otherwise, like I'm making a statement like that's really going to hurt the Rangers if I left the suite all upset.
No.
The only person that hurts is me.
Yeah.
I mean, so the Rangers don't give a damn.
No.
The suite's already been paid for. So it's like everybody, you should have made a statement. What kind of fan are you?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Dude,
whatever.
You guys have no idea.
No clue. It was a great time. Cardinals did win that game, so I thought that was karma.
Now, on Friday night, the Rangers won 11-1.
They did. It was a rough game.
2-0, and then you guaranteed a sweep. But
it was 8-1.
On Sunday, it was 8-1.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm happy we didn't go to that game.
Pretty good weekend for the old Texas Rangers.
Not bad. Bad. Yeah. It was fun. I tell you, going to watching baseball live is just the best. I mean, it really is. It's just the best. And they had good crowds. Obviously, Friday night was sold out. It was Texas Tech night. Saturday, not so much, but it was still a big crowd. The roof was open the entire time, and it was just a lot of fun.
Well, it's the first 2 times I have been in that building with the roof open for a game, and it's a completely different look and feel.
It is, yeah.
A lot of fun, although, I mean, both games sold out, but if you're watching, you saw a lot of empty seats. They open up that roof, and people in the sun left. They were like, this sucks. This is why we built this across the street from the other one and put a roof on it. Where's the AC?
Well,
even though it was a beautiful day, but it was crazy at the beginning, especially way out in left field. Those seats way up right in the sun. Those people all left. I don't know where they went, but they didn't stay in those seats.
Well, that was our good friend Redbird's Junkie.
Yeah.
He was out there.
Yeah.
And he said it was a little hot when that sun's shining on you. But that's too bad. It's okay. It was good to see him and his family.
Yep.
That was cool. But great time. And, again, the Rangers were absolutely fantastic. They were great. So I got to figure out what to do with that jersey now.
Well, we'll figure out something. I mean, it would look good in my closet, but I don't know that I'd ever wear it. I think we could hang it in the studio.
We could do that.
We could figure out a giveaway or a charity auction.
We could do that.
Or you could leave it in your closet because you know you're going back into that suite again, or you're hoping you get an invite to that suite again.
I hope so, because poor Albert got an email from the Rangers people.
Yeah, strongly worded.
Uh-huh.
Remind your guests of the rules.
Dude,
Troublemaker.
There's
breaking the law. Breaking the law.
Like that suite.
I love that rule, though.
I hate it. It's ridiculous.
You're starting to see more and more teams crack down on selling their season tickets. If we catch you selling them, we're going to yank them because they want their fans there. I have no problem with the rule. It would have been nice to know ahead of time, even though I told you of the possibility.
You didn't even believe that yourself.
Again, I gave you the one example I was aware of. I did not know the rule. I was half screwing with you and half hoping to God it was actual, and it happened.
It happened. It did.
And you so thought I was screwing with you.
Well, who knew? I mean, Friday, obviously I'm in the seats, and it doesn't matter what you wear. And by the way, I'm going to say this, and you can agree or not, but there were more Cardinal fans all weekend than there were Ranger fans.
There were not.
There were. Did you hear the cheers on Saturday when the Cardinals score a run? The place went nuts.
Yeah. There were a lot of Cardinal fans there, but more, not even close. 30% maybe. I mean, there were a lot of Cardinal fans. I'll give you that. But more? No.
Huh.
No. Not even close.
Well, it was close. It was very close. Both nights. Friday night and Saturday afternoon.
Well, what is very close to you?
I would say it was close. It was damn near even, if not more. I'm telling you.
Your goggles, my friend.
I'm
telling you. Going to find another mechanical bull for you to ride.
Texas Live is another great place. A lot more stories there after the game on Friday night.
Oh, yeah.
We closed that place down.
We did.
Then we walked back to our hotel. And well, no, we didn't walk back there. We took an Uber back. And there were still people at the bar.
Now, the bar was closed, but they opened it for us.
They did.
They were nice.
I guess they were nice. That was kind of boop. Boom. Fun weekend, though. It's great.
Justin Guerrero on YouTube says it didn't look sold out. You're right. They announced sold out. Tickets sold versus butts in seats are two different things. But I will tell you, that stadium, if you've not been there, Globe Life Field, and all the things that they have done, and the areas that you can go that aren't in your seats, but bar areas where you can still see the field, like the backyard area where we were doing our show Friday, and fans gather in those areas, especially with the roof open, that, the sun isn't right there. And there's bars right there. You can see the field, and there's TVs right there. The Lexus Club, which is behind home plate, you can't see the field from there at all.
But there's TVs all over.
But there's TVs all over. And the Lexus Club, and you have to have a pretty good ticket to have access to the Lexus Club. I was amazed at how many people were in there the entire game. Like, I don't know if they ever went to their seat.
So they didn't.
Tickets sold versus butts and seats could be two very different things.
That is accurate, yes. But it was a lot of fun, and again, thanks to Albert for that on Saturday, and it was a fun weekend. Fantastic, great weekend, no doubt about it. I tell you who else had a great weekend. The UTSA Roadrunners.
Yes, sir.
Had one hell of a weekend, and they're making history for their baseball program. Congratulations, and birds up. We're talking about that when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Don't let pain hold you back from living your best life. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. At Arasti, we're dedicated to providing fast, effective relief from pain. Whether you've been dealing with a chronic discomfort for years or have recently suffered an injury, our goal is to help you recover quickly. Our treatment is all natural, non-invasive, and covered by most insurance plans. With convenient locations nearby, relief is just a call away. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Working from home, you realize you don't have enough outlets or USB ports. Hill Electric can fix that for you. For over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. From adding an outlet, fixing that fuse that always blows, or that flickering light, Hill Electric has the right service at the right price, and there is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or go to hill-electric.com.
Did you know that 70% of divorces are filed by women? She's already thinking about it. I urge you, do not get caught off guard. I'm Gary Barton, owner of Barton & Associates, attorneys at law. Divorce is tough. It's emotional, challenging, and can upend everything you've worked hard for. But here's the truth. You have a choice. You can either let your spouse dictate the terms, or you can take control and protect your financial future. At Barton & Associates, this isn't just about getting through the process. It's about protecting what you've built, securing your assets, and ensuring you have the resources to move forward with confidence. You've worked hard for everything you have, and we're here to help safeguard it and avoid unnecessary losses. If you're serious about protecting yourself through the divorce process and securing your future, Barton & Associates is the team you need by your side. Call 210-500-0000. That's 210-5-million. Or visit TexasDivorce.com. That's TexasDivorce.com.
Principal Office, San Antonio.
Have you ever closed your eyes and pictured owning a piece of the Texas coast? Ocean views, world-class fishing off of Matagorda Bay? Well, dream no more. This Saturday, June 7th, Driftwood Shores at Wolf Point is dropping the final release of these incredible coastal properties. We're talking 1 to 3 acre properties, all with ocean access for just $49.9. You heard correctly, $49.9. This gated community has a waterfront resort-style pool and cabana, your own boat slip and launch, even boat and RV storage, plus paved roads and underground utilities. It's the whole shebang. It's all happening this Saturday, June 7th. 1 to 3 acres with ocean access, just $49.9. Yes, just $49.9. Call now for your private tour at 210-853-0389. Excellent financing. Don't wait another minute. Call 210-853-0389. That's 210-853-0389. Texas coastal land has never been this affordable.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
God bless, birds up.
Man, isn't that the truth right now? Even got a comment from my daughter, Casey, who was a cheerleader at UTSA, one of the first, in fact, when they first started the football program. She's all excited. UTSA Roadrunner fans excited, and they should be. This is the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe. He's Jason, and Jason, who would have thunk it? They beat Texas twice.
You know, UTSA, and they might be the only people that thunk it. I know they're a really good baseball team, but so is Texas.
Yes.
On the UCLA Wire, which is a UCLA website, the Texas San Antonio Roadrunners are the only team standing in the way of a UCLA baseball return to the College World Series. That's an amazing sentence to write and read, but it's true. That is how they start the article at UCLA Wire, getting ready for this and the all-acronym Super Regionals between UTSA and UCLA starting Friday in L.A., and the UCLA types are just thrilled that they don't have to go play in the Texas heat. They actually write that in this article because UTSA is the lower-seeded team. UCLA will host the Roadrunners at Jackie Robinson Stadium.
Well, it'll be a great trip for UTSA to head out to L.A. to play a little baseball against UCLA. And look, the way they're playing right now, they're scoring runs like crazy. Just what they did over the weekend. And look, they didn't knock off any cupcakes, man. Kansas State on Friday, and then you beat Texas twice. I don't care what unexpected, miraculous, you can use anything you want. That's beating two quality ball clubs and getting out of a tough regional.
You know, and UTSA has been good all year. But to think that they are College World Series good, I don't know that many thought that. Now, they're called a giant killer in this UCLA article, and they probably won't surprise UCLA. That's a team that's going to be ready. But you think about what Schlossnagle said yesterday, the Longhorn coach after UTSA won. They're a real baseball team.
It's not a fluke. It's not some team that had a losing record and then all of a sudden showed up here and won a regional. I mean, it's a real team. Right-handed, left-handed switch, run, power, different pitchers out of the bullpen, and a persona. And so, you know, and it's more than just beating Texas. I mean, they have a good team, and they're very well coached, and Coach Hallmark's been around the block, man. And I hate it for us, but I'm super happy for him. And Coach Graham would be super proud of him, and I know that means a lot to him. And so, you know, I've been in a different jersey and won a postseason tournament on this field, so I know what that feels like to try to get your program over the hump, and it stinks for us. But I'm truly happy for Coach Hallmark. It's really good, and his team.
Wasn't that the winning on that field that got him the job in the first place?
Kinda. Did you see the gaffe he had over the weekend doing one of the in-game interviews and it got me hook 'em. Where am I? What am I doing? Hook 'em. Yeah.
I love on our YouTube page, Gilbert P. says, my UT friends are so mad right now, LOL. Talking how the coach is gone now because we can't afford him.
Look, you know, it's weird because I'm a Longhorn fan. I'm thrilled for UTSA. It's super exciting for the UTSA Roadrunners. If Texas ain't going and it's UTSA instead, I'm all in. I was rooting for UTSA last night. Well, watching the game on ESPN Plus.
I know.
All right,
unbelievable.
Now I realize ESPN has the Sunday night games, but you know, watching Kansas State on actual ESPN, and then I had to go find this one on ESPN Plus. Either way, it's just incredibly exciting. You know, the idea that UTSA is going and the history that is being made, but that's just a damn good baseball team all the way around. Now, Art Garcia says, anybody watching UTSA baseball knew. That's part of the problem, dude. There's 7 of you. Right? I mean, how many? I mean, they have a crappy home field. They're trying to raise some money to build a real facility, but in reality, and a whole lot of you going and watching UTSA baseball on the regular. We all see, all right, they're winning again, we're winning again, but very few people know these guys. Now, we've got a request in for Pat Hallmark. We're trying to get them on, but, you know, they're having a celebration. Apparently, they had one last night. They didn't get back from Austin today till 2 o'clock.
Yeah, they stayed there and partied, so I don't blame them.
All right, so they're coming from, bus from Austin to San Antonio. Boys, we ain't waking up early, man. Let's leave at the crack of noon and try to get home, right? Yeah. So we're working on trying to get Hallmark on the show this afternoon. We'll let you know, but we want to celebrate with them too.
Absolutely.
But don't pretend like you know who these guys are. There's very few people that do. Now, Art, you might, and that's cool, but most don't, and most are going to be like me and be like Joe and. Dude, they're catching fire. We're jumping on the bandwagon, and we're all in on this ride through L.A., and then hopefully they get to Omaha. That's what we're rooting for.
I hope so, too. I really do. Jacob Eric says he didn't even know where the field is. So, I mean, there's a lot of people. There's a lot more of them than there are of you, Art. So you got to bear with us and let us jump on this bandwagon. And what I found funny, Jason, is the fact we got off the plane Saturday night. You said Texas was up 6-1 or something like that. And so UTSA comes back, and then yesterday's game was just the opposite. UTSA had a 7-0 lead and allowed Texas to get pretty close. So it was.
Wow. They got that 2-run homer late to make it 7-4, and my wife said no, they're not gonna. No, I don't mind that 2-run homer. There's 2 outs. Let them hit that. I'd rather hit a 2-run homer, a solo shot. I don't want to see bases loaded and then the home run come. That's fine. There's a big enough cushion there. But yeah, when we landed, because we went to the game, the Rangers-Cardinals game on Saturday. It was a 3:00 game. We were on the 9:00 flight home, 8:30, like whatever it was. And I'm following along on my phone, and they were down. I was like, man, that sucks. And then by the time I got home, put the game on, and the rally was going. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. Absolutely. No, it's fantastic, and I wish them all the best. Now, I mean, you've got to check UCLA. I hate those guys. So I hope they kick their ass.
You hate UCLA?
I do.
Just this weekend or in general?
Well, just this weekend more so. Have you seen that campus?
I've been to that campus.
Dude, it is unbelievable.
It's
in more ways than one.
There was a time when my daughter wanted to go to UCLA, and we actually toured that place.
Uh-huh.
And
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's nothing to hate about UCLA other than that.
Well, they suck at everything else, so I guess that's why.
I mean, I don't know.
No, they do.
I mean, Troy Aikman went there.
Well, for a minute.
It doesn't matter. He was there. I mean, great weekend for the guys. I'm like, we should talk to the boss and road trip.
Yeah, sure. You think the boss would go for that?
No.
No, I don't think so either.
Although, can we go to Omaha? Can we talk to the boss about that?
Well, that could be a possibility. So UTSA's got to do its part. Keep playing well.
They keep playing well. There's no reason to think that they won't continue to do their part because they have done this all year. The way they just handled business, some of the defensive plays, some of like it's not a knock. It just sounds weird when you hear Sloth saying they're a real team, right? What define real team?
Well, most people don't think so, right? I guarantee you, Texas fans saw UTSA on the whatever. Let's make our trip, our plan, and dude, nobody took them seriously.
Well, again, because they're the American. But you look, SEC commissioner and all the crap he was talking last week, and all the SEC teams that made the regionals, all of them except A&M. Felt like, 13 of the teams in the SEC were in? Vanderbilt, the number 1 overall, done. It's crazy to look at and think all the teams that didn't make it out of this weekend. UTSA did. And in comparison, because where are we now? Sweet 16? If this was the NCAA tournament, this would be like UTSA making the Sweet 16 round. You think about the program. In this weekend, is this the biggest weekend in the history of UTSA athletics? And I'm talking about a football team that's won a couple of conference championship games, won some bowl games, but you look at advancing, knocking off Texas along the way. Is there a bigger weekend victory-wise in all of sports for UTSA?
Well,
and this bigger than football? I know it's not football, so it's hard to compare. We'll always say football wins are bigger no matter what they are, but in reality, that's pretty massive what UTSA accomplished this weekend.
Well, and considering the teams that they beat and the powerhouse that is Texas, because Texas has a good baseball team. I mean, they do. Is it the biggest? It certainly has to go up there. But this school continues to make history. And so the baseball team is making history again. The football team has done that. And it's time for people to start looking at UTSA, I think, is not that, some rinky-dink little school in San Antonio. I mean, it's a big-time program now. Jeff Traylor has done that. Now we know the baseball team is making strides. If only the basketball team could do the same thing, we'd be in good shape.
Yeah.
What are you laughing at?
I agree.
Oh, my goodness. But congratulations to the UTSA Roadrunners, man. I tell you what, they are they should be proud. Everybody that's a Roadrunner faithful should be partying today. It is outstanding what they have accomplished, and hopefully it's not over and it's only the beginning. That is for sure. Look, when we come back, we're going to start talking a lot about, as we move forward to June 25th, the NBA draft. And I think now that we're past June 1st, there's going to be a lot of activity, not only in basketball, but in football as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun as we move through this thing. But there was an article in ESPN today regarding possible trade offers for one Cooper Flag. We'll discuss when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know, nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast, you know the best way to do that is by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text BAIL to 474747. Or you can start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds because nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service. They are discreet and confidential and open 24/7, offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. So if you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, anywhere in between, license number 149, call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go online, mybestbailbonds.com.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Tuesday on the Morning Huddle, what do the Pacers have to do to take Game 1? There's only one thing we'll tell you.
And one day closer to the NBA draft, we'll see where the Spurs' minds might be at going into that. All that, plenty more. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Here in San Antonio in the Hill Country, our water is hard. It's harsh like some accents.
Hey, what's the matter with you?
Now that's harsh. At the same time, those that know have a Connecticut quality water softener and enjoy smooth, soft, pure, clean water like this.
Tú eres mi luz en la oscuridad.
Hard, harsh water.
Hey, use with the face.
Soft water.
El amor es como el agua que nunca se seca.
If you don't have a Connecticut water softener, you're basically inviting hard water into your home to beat up your appliances, hot water heater, and every pipe in your home. And if you can't live without your coffee maker, hard water damages it too. Call me for a free in-home water evaluation at 656-PURE.
For a limited time, get a free reverse osmosis drinking station, $400 off a trade-in, and 0% interest for 12 months. Call Connecticut of San Antonio in the Hill Country, 210-656-PURE.
Connecticut is simply the best water softener you can buy, and that's why we say it's the last water softener you'll ever own.
License number 38961.
Progressive knows not all rides are smooth. Meet Sarah. She loves her motorcycle. What she doesn't love is when it suddenly rains. As she sits underneath a bridge waiting for it to stop, she grows quite fond of the graffiti on the overpass. She really likes the one with John Hart's Claire and wonders if they're still together. Not every ride is smooth, but Progressive has your back. Get an online quote in as little as 3 minutes and see if you can save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Nigel, why does our office look like a casino?
I call it employee engagement.
Folks, right now is the ideal time to hit the jackpot on comfort with Quarter Moon's Lucky 7's AC tune-up. It's just $77 for a complete 7-point inspection.
Excuse me, bossman. I've got a good feeling about that slot machine next to your desk. Joel, I couldn't get an advance on next week's check, could I?
Call Quarter Moon Plumbing, AC and Heating for your Lucky 7's AC tune-up. Just $77. 210-651-5899.
License number TACLA 141074EM16004.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday, with on on-site x-ray casting and bracing. Ortho now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the GPS directions first, before driving to the mall.
Turn right at the light. In 1,000 miles, you will reach Montreal.
Not Montreal, the mall.
Recalculating. 6,000 miles to Nepal.
No, the mall.
Checking first is smart.
Recalculating.
So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
So the question is, what would you give up, Spurs fan, if the Dallas Mavericks called and said, what will you give us for Cooper Flagg to move up to number 1? Obviously, you'd have to give up the number 2 pick. Would it require anything else? Well, that's the question that's being pondered today on a particular website, and we're talking about it here on the Blitz on 94.1. San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe. He's Jason. James Pledger is in there punching the buttons. What would you do, Jason?
Tweet at Joe Reinagle 2-0. Tweet at me at Jason Minix. If you're watching on YouTube, you can always comment there. Subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. You know, you read this article on ESPN.com, and there are people that put lots of thought and effort into writing a lot of words on a page that ain't happening. The Mavericks have said how many times they aren't even entertaining phone calls for Cooper Flagg. It is lying season, and you're dealing with a GM that made an idiotic move this offseason. So maybe Nico will take, I don't know, Keldon Johnson for Cooper Flagg. I'd do that.
Keldon Johnson. Yeah, he might. Who knows?
You want a Mamu?
Maybe.
We'll throw that in, too.
Yeah, you can have that, too. That's just a bonus because we're nice
You can have Bruce Bowen's jersey from the rafters. We'll put that in there as well. Why not?
Obviously, in the article, it would cost them a lot more. And, look, Cooper Flagg has the potential to be special. We saw him play in the Alamo Dome, and all of us were oohing and ahhing. He's going to be a great player, I think, right? But according to this particular offer is what they're saying, the Mavs would get the 2nd pick in the draft. They would also get the 14th pick. They would then get the 2027 Atlanta Hawks 1st rounder and return of swap rights to the Mavericks 2030 1st round, and Spurs would get the number 1 pick, in which they would take Cooper Flagg.
No, I would do that.
You would?
I would do that. See, I mean, all you're doing is giving up a bunch of picks, and you're getting a Cooper Flagg in his rookie contract while Wemby is still on his rookie deal. I would do this. And I would think, what idiot GM would do this? But then again, it is Nico, who already made one idiot move. And I'm curious, how many idiot moves do GMs get in their career before they end up becoming an analyst on television?
Unless they're thinking that Dylan Harper is the real deal, and he's just as good, if not better, than Cooper Flagg. I mean, think about that. Every Spurs fan that we've been to, we're not giving a Dylan Harper. He's the real deal. He's the guy. So would you rather have Cooper Flagg or Dylan Harper? I mean, think about it, right? When you look at that. Now, the only reason I say think about it, remember that guy by the name of Carmelo Anthony?
Uh-huh.
Remember that guy?
Yeah.
He was a pretty good player. He didn't know how to spell defense, but he could shoot. He was on a radio show recently, and he says, Coop is nice. Coop is the real deal. We haven't seen in a while somebody dominate every stop he went to, and I'm very high on his game, he says. He says, to me, he doesn't do anything great. He just does a lot of poop very good.
Yeah.
Obviously, he didn't use that.
Yeah.
He said he's a fan. Now we have to talk about him as a pro. Now he's stepping into where every single night, 82 games, every single night, you got to get a skill set. You can't be in the pros and you don't have a skill set. You got to have something that's your go-to. Right now, he don't have a go-to. That's Carmelo Anthony saying that, not Joe Reinagle.
Now, again, I think we can all find analysts to say what we want to hear.
I don't want him to hear anything. I'm just saying that's what he said.
I'm saying you're going to find good and bad. It's draft season. People are going to pick you apart. Cooper Flag, kind of like Wemby, you're going on the future projections of what this player is going to be, not what they can do now. Now, you and I sat in the Alamo Dome next to each other watching Duke completely poop the bed against Houston.
Yes.
But there were times where I wasn't watching the ball, I was watching Cooper Flag and imagining what he would be like in the silver and black. But watching everything he did, the way he moved away from the ball, his passing, all of it, he's going to be incredible. Projections are he's going to be incredible. What I saw, yeah, he's worthy of the number one pick, watching him in person and seeing how he interacts, seeing how his teammates respond to him. All of that was there. And I'm by no means any kind of NBA scout. So, sure, Carmelo, you can have that. But if I'm the Mavericks, I'm not giving this guy up. I'm just not. And you think about, you traded away Luka, a young guy, superstar, because you didn't want to give him the max deal. You got an aging, injury-prone guy in return who got hurt promptly in his first game in a Maverick uniform in Anthony Davis.
He did.
You don't know when Kyrie's going to be healthy and back, but Cooper Flag and the excitement of what they've got already, but that's something you can build around. Dallas is going to do, and Dallas needs to do, exactly what we've talked about in San Antonio since the Spurs won the lottery and got Wemby. Put some core young talent around them, mix it with some veterans. Dallas has a head start because they weren't so completely young when they landed the number one pick. They're not trading them. And if they did, even this offer, I would do this offer today, but you go through this ESPN article, other teams, according to ESPN, could give up a lot more to get Cooper Flag. And if you're Nico, isn't that what you would want, is to get a lot more as opposed to just a boatload of young picks?
Well, I would think so. And that Spurs, perspective trade that we just talked about is pretty low, because you look at another one for the Cavs, for example, they're saying you got to trade Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. So, I mean, look, I don't think they're going to trade him either. I think it would be a PR disaster, and they would run Nico Harrison out of town. So I don't think they're going to trade it either. So then my question becomes, and I mean this in all, and I'm looking for reaction from you, either on a YouTube page or on Twitter or on the phone lines at 656-3776. If everybody says Dylan Harper is right there, he's almost the same guy. Maybe the Mavericks have a better or need a point guard. Maybe that would be the guy that they would want to start their franchise and build around. Because I've heard Spurs fans all over the place, with Dylan Harper, he's just as good. He's right there. We're not trading the number 2 pick for anybody. I don't care if it's Giannis or if it's anybody. We're not trading it. And so I'm wondering, but you would trade it for Cooper Flag when everybody that I've heard said, well, they're basically the same guy.
I mean, Dylan Harper, not saying anything bad about him, but he ain't Cooper Flag. Did you see Becky Hammond over the weekend on ESPN?
I heard about it.
Talking about Jalen Brunson?
Yeah.
These are Becky Hammond's words, not mine. And we don't have that audio, do we, Pledge? Oh. But she, in a nutshell, and you can find this on Twitter, said you can't win without a big. Your best player can't be small. And Steph Curry is the one kind of outlier, and he's not super small, but, he's the best shooter in the history of the game. But Becky Hammond was essentially saying one of the problems with the Knicks is they don't have a big that is the superstar. Your best player can't be a small. And she goes through all these examples from Allen Iverson on, Steve Nash, and blah, 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 about when your best player is a guard, you ain't going to win.
Well, and look what happened in New York.
Yeah.
I mean, they got a deeper team beat them in the Indiana Pacers. And they need some work. And there's already been, people uproar in New York saying we need a big guy. We got to get Kevin Durant. We need Giannis. We need somebody. Look, and the Spurs need a big man. I mean, they need a big man.
Yep.
It's absolutely necessary for them to do. But they also need a wing player. They need a shooter. So that Cooper Flagg, I think, would fit that bill. But, again, I would be willing, and leave Cooper Flagg out of it, I'd be willing to get rid of that number 2 pick for a variety of veterans that fit the bill that we just talked about.
I agree.
And I just don't – I'm not sure because I asked the question because if everybody says Dylan Harper's the guy, why is it so unheard of that Dallas might want him instead of Cooper Flagg? And if that happens and he's sitting there for the Spurs, I'm talking about Cooper Flagg. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm just saying – I have not heard one person say that Cooper Flagg is head and shoulders above everybody else, above Dylan Harper, I should say.
It's not quite Wemby and everybody else.
No, it's not.
But it's a lot closer to that than 1A, 1B. You can't go wrong with either one. Cooper Flagg is the clear-cut, unanimous number 1 overall selection. And I think that's part of the reason why Dallas has consistently said, whether it's Nico talking, their team president when he was doing some interviews last week talking about the new arena they're trying to build there in Dallas, or Jason Kidd, they're not even entertaining calls for Cooper Flagg because that's their guy. He is the clear-cut, unanimous number 1. Now, to that point, Dylan Harper, probably the clear-cut number 2, but I'm willing to trade that if I'm the Spurs brass and Brian Wright. I'm taking phone calls all day long for the right to pick number 2 because I look at what the Spurs needs are, and that isn't Dylan Harper. That is, I mean, you've got Steph Castle, Rookie of the Year, looks like he's going to be a superstar. You just made the move for De'Aaron Fox. Your foundation is set. So the Spurs have very specific needs right now. So this is where you go, what's best for the team, not best player available.
I totally agree with that. But I'm throwing out the scenarios because of what people say. And when we first brought this up, it's like, well, be honest. No way we're giving up Dylan Harper. No, not giving up the number 2 pick. For a future Hall of Famer, I mean, I totally get that. Please. But I don't get it. I mean, if you can't have it both ways. Dylan Harper, I've seen it, 1A, 1B. That's the biggest scenario I've seen, that there's not much difference between Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper.
Now, on this ESPN article with different trade scenarios, if I'm Nico, the one that I'm looking at involves the Suns and getting Devin Booker. And even then, I don't know that I make this deal. If you're the Mavericks, you're not trading away the number 1 pick. None of these offers look like there's enough of a haul in return. But it is that time of year where you throw all the spaghetti against the wall and you see what sticks.
You wouldn't trade it for Devin Booker? I would. Are you kidding me? Right now, give me the contract. I'd sign it right now for Devin Booker. Oh, my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got an automatic guy ready to go. Again, Cooper Flagg comes with all the stuff, all the potential, everything we've seen him play. He is that. There's no doubt about it. But if you're going to give me a Devin Booker for the number 1 pick, yes, right now.
Well, I'm
pop the champagne.
But I'm also looking at all the contracts that I have in place that you have to deal with, and you now granted, Suns would get Klay Thompson, P.J. Washington, Najee Marshall, Caleb Martin, and the number 1 pick, and Devin Booker and a couple other picks down the road would end up coming back to Dallas. But I look at the Mavericks, and are they a Devin Booker away from being a championship caliber team? I mean, you got an Anthony Davis and you got a hurt Kyrie. You got an aging Klay Thompson. Right? Now, this was a team that was in the finals 2 years ago, but the biggest reason they were in the finals 2 years ago now plays for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Exactly right. Exactly right. I just think it's fun, and it's going to be interesting as scenarios come up, Jason. And between now and the 25th of this month, there's going to be every scenario under the sun that is going to pop up. And I think it's well, it's going to be a lot of fun between now and then.
Well, it is. And you read some of the comments on YouTube, and one says, that Manu guy, Jose says, Manu is in the Hall of Fame coming off the bench. Why not draft Harper and have either Castle or Harper come off the bench?
Uh-huh.
And, that certainly is a possibility. But, the one thing about, I don't know Castle well enough, and I know nothing about Harper. Do they have the mindset to be that player, to come off the bench? Because that's what's best for the team. And again, it doesn't matter. Manu used to say this. It doesn't matter who starts the game. It's who finishes.
That's exactly right.
But a lot of players' egos won't allow them to come off the bench. One of those said players played for the Spurs this year, and he's a free agent again and probably not coming back because he doesn't want to come off the bench, and Chris Paul. He wants to go somewhere, continue playing, but he wants to be a starter. And he played well. He was great last year.
Yeah.
But coming into this year, that role isn't here anymore because Steph Castle played that well, and you added in a De'Aaron Fox. So CP3 is going to be playing somewhere else.
Yeah, if he wants to continue to play, and it sounds like he does. But I tell you what, I'm not sure that he goes somewhere and starts unless it's a team like the Spurs were that are rebuilding and they need a mentor. Because any credible team's already going to have that in place, you would think, most likely. So, look, Chris Paul was good here. He played I think he played 82 games or damn close to it, which is very surprising, quite frankly, and then especially at his age.
And then a lot of people commenting, and the fact that Harper and Ace Bailey on that Rutgers team couldn't even get them into the tournament. So how good are they? Now, again, you're looking at individual talent. Their teams weren't good around them. But there is that, and you wonder. And then the other part with Harper is his dad. Is his dad trying to force his way to Brooklyn, which it seems like. So even if you drafted him, is he here for that rookie contract and then automatically thinking about where he wants to go live, not what team he is a part of?
Very true.
Yeah. And again, I don't think with Wemby now, getting guys that want to come here, it's not coming to San Antonio, which I always thought was a BS argument anyway. But there will be guys that want to play alongside Wemby because everybody that you talk to thinks there's rings in the future for Wemby, and people want to be a part of that.
Well, there are. But he, again, as you mentioned, the two guys from Rutgers, they can't win by themselves. Well, guess what? Neither can Victor Wembanyama.
Yep.
So he's got to have a team around him. And I think the Spurs are starting to get there. And look, they got lucky with Stephon Castle. It's a good draft pick. It looks like he's the real deal. When you draft him at number 4, we didn't know. Now we know. The guy can play. And it looks like he's going to be a big piece of this puzzle. But look, Cooper Flagg looks like he's the real deal. Will he turn out to be that way? Time will tell. When we're talking this time next year, we'll know.
Well, that's it. I mean, but now you would like to think that if you're picked in the top 5, top 8, that you are going to be a hell of a player, a cornerstone kind of player. And the Spurs, you look at their recent drafts. Now, granted, their needs have changed. So, you go back, Keldon at one point, that was a great pick. He was the second first-round pick. Luka Sandwich Man was at 19.
Uh-huh.
Where's he now? Right?
I don't know. Serving sandwiches maybe somewhere.
Maybe.
I'm not sure. But, again, the draft, whether it's football, basketball, whatever, it's a crapshoot. It is. And you can think guys are the best. You can think they're that. But then they got to step up and play against all-stars night in and night out. And to that point, Carmelo Anthony is right. You've got to have that go-to. And he's good at a lot of things. Does he have that go-to? Will he develop that? I'm sure he will. But we'll see. So mark your calendar, June 2nd of 2026, and we're talking about how great Cooper Flagg was or how not so great he was with the Dallas Mavericks.
We're just going to celebrate the Rookie of the Year for the 3rd straight year. We're not going to wait till June 2nd to know. We're going to celebrate Rookie of the Year next year for the 3rd straight year.
So we're not trading the number 2 pick.
I don't care if we do. I mean, even if we trade at 2 and end up at 6 or 8, doesn't matter. All we do is select Rookies of the Year. We've started a good trend. Let's keep that going.
2-game winning streak.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Sure.
All right, I got that. Okay. Oh, my gosh. The finals, by the way, start on Thursday. It's going to be interesting. Oklahoma City and Indiana. And that should be a lot of fun. Those two teams, I know you think, a lot of people think Oklahoma City's just going to roll through this thing. You thinking that?
We'll talk about it at 3:15 and about the end of the TNT era with the NBA.
Huh.
There was some interesting stuff that was said and happened, and we'll get into that.
No doubt. But coming up next, flight attendant.
That's the one you're going to tease?
Found in the bathroom dancing naked. It's a hell of a story. I'm going to tell you. We'll talk about it when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Riding home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6. KTFM Floresville. And everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and My Lowe's Pro Rewards members can save even more with limited time deals. Right now, buy one, get one half off. Select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Primer and Ceiling Paint. Plus, get free same-day delivery to your job site when you order by 2 p.m. Offer valid through 6/13. Delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on home insurance by checking Allstate first.
Hold it.
Like you know to check the assembly instructions first.
Hold it.
Before building the bookcase.
And done. Whew. You can let go.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Potential savings vary. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Did you know that 70% of divorces are filed by women? She's already thinking about it. Don't get caught off guard. Contact Barton & Associates today and get your freedom back before Father's Day. TexasDivorce.com. That's TexasDivorce.com.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. Jason Minix here from San Antonio Sports Star. You can do that with Orchard. Orchard puts cash into your pocket so you can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to sell your home. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday 1. Then you buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom, payday 2. Learn how you can make more with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
Attention passengers, we've reached 10,000 feet and internet is now available for purchase.
I just paid hundreds for this flight, and you can't even throw in internet? I'll just take the free pretzels.
Sorry, but I do have snack boxes for sale.
I'm just gonna sleep.
In that case, we are selling pillows and blankets as well.
I'll just breathe. That's free, right?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Congratulations to the UTSA Roadrunner baseball team, headed to the Super Regionals for the first time in program history. They beat Texas twice to earn their ticket. They'll now face off against UCLA in LA this coming weekend. Texas women punched their ticket into the finals in girls softball. They beat Tennessee today 2-0. They'll face the winner of the Oklahoma-Texas Tech matchup.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagle.
That's the third time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. Jason and I did. We had a fantastic weekend. It was excellent. Hope you all had a great one as well. This is the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinigle. He's Jason Minix. James Pledger is producing this show. And UTSA is getting a hero's welcome as we speak.
Glad to see they made it back a little bit later than planned, but some of the photos that I'm starting to see on social media, good crowd to greet those guys. Bunch of little kids out there as well getting autographs from those players, which it's just a good scene. Well-deserved scene for UTSA after they upset the Texas Longhorns. They go undefeated there at UT Stadium this year.
How about that? I hear tell they beat the Aggies as well this year. That's the rumor.
A lot of teams did this year, though.
Well, that's a good point.
Dude, it's incredible for UTSA to have that kind of success, but to go on the road, get that done. We're working on getting Pat Hallmark on the show this afternoon. As you can imagine, his schedule is crazy right now.
Well, I would imagine, and right now they're basking in the glory that they've earned. So I'm glad that there was a big crowd out there at UTSA to greet them when they came back, and get ready for. They got to get back to work. Get ready for UCLA.
You think about under Pat Hallmark, UTSA is now 21-21 against ranked opponents.
Wow.
And they won for the fourth time at Disch Falk Field this season. The most victories at any ballpark besides their own. Up in Austin. Somebody should change their Wikipedia to who owns that? UTSA.
UTSA. That's pretty cool. That really is pretty cool. And again, congratulations to those guys. That well-deserved. Not only did they beat Texas once, they beat them twice. That's beating them once is hard enough, but they beat them twice. And they beat a pretty damn good Kansas State team on top of that.
And again, I know they had that regular season win. If I recall, that was kind of a bullpen game for the Longhorns where they had a big lead and UTSA rallied back and then won in extra innings. Doesn't matter because, ultimately they got the win. But to get the win in the regionals when it matters most, it's kind of like Buffalo can beat Kansas City in the regular season, but they can't beat them in the playoffs. That was huge for UTSA. And they didn't look fluky at all in doing it. They were the better baseball team all weekend long.
Yeah, there's no question about it. So congratulations to them. J.J. Pettis has the team getting off the bus, which is cool, and obviously they're all excited.
Yeah.
Maybe, they're too young to party like that.
They're not too young to party like that. I saw Hallmark on Friday say the only thing they're not allowed to do, they're going to celebrate, but they can't go to 6th Street. I wonder if they let him go to 6th Street last night. If and when he is on the show, we will ask him. Right now, let's do the Headline Blitz.
This is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. Two guys, two opinions, never enough time.
Weird story. It happened right here in San Antonio last night, apparently. King of the Hill actor was shot to death last night outside of his house.
Yeah, Jonathan Joss lives in San Antonio. And a bizarre story that kind of dates back. Apparently, he's had issues with his neighbor for years. His house burned down in February. Apparently, he was trying to heat the house with his barbecue pit, which is a bad idea. So he was back at the house on Sunday. Now, he was just up in Austin for a King of the Hill deal. And but he came back to his house and apparently got into it with his neighbor, and his neighbor shot him. He's dead.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's a crazy. He played the John Redcorn.
John Redcorn on King of the Hill.
On King of the Hill. So he was the voice of that, I guess,
yes.
Right? So weird story that, I mean, when I saw it, and it happened here in San Antonio, and I was like, wow, that's pretty incredible. So sad news there for John Redcorn, or Jonathan Joss, killed. You're happy about this next story because the Eagles are screwed. Saquon Barkley is he lands the cover of the Madden game.
The Madden curse. Saquon with that backwards jump, that's the cover of Madden coming up. So Eagle fans are thrilled, yet mad as hell because of the Madden curse.
Well, and they're going to show the video or the picture they're going to show is that him. Remember that crazy thing that he did last year, kind of jump backwards, avoiding a tackle. So that's going to be on the cover. So that's going to be pretty cool. We'll see if that affects the Philadelphia Eagles. Livy Dunn back in the news for a couple of things. She did a SI swimsuit thing yesterday and did the splits beautifully, by the way.
You would think that she would do that well. I mean, that's one of the reasons she's famous.
Well,
but it was at a fashion show, and she was on the runway. She's modeling, but then dropped down and did the splits. It is really some video that you have to watch over and over and over again. You got to study the film.
Well, yeah, she was very bouncy. I mean, she just kind of bounced, right? Yeah.
She didn't do that, Fletch.
Well, she might have. There were no microphones on. Stop. I'm just saying.
You know what she doesn't like, though? Is you creeps that hunt her down at the airport looking for autographs. She posted a video.
Why are you looking at me? I don't hunt her down.
You know, and this is a problem that a lot of female athletes or famous people deal with. But the autograph seekers, and what Livy Dunn is curious of is, like, even if she doesn't post where she's going, they somehow seem to know when she's going to be at the airport. Sometimes it's before TSA, sometimes it's on the other side. And I'm thinking, okay, that's part of the price of fame. And these guys that have 40 pictures, and that's the number she put out in the video, those are autograph seekers. They're looking to get your autograph and make money selling your autograph. I don't want to say they're harmless, but they're not there for other reasons. They got a side hustle going on. They're trying to make some money with your autograph. But so many other athletes responded to the video saying, yeah, that happens to me all the time. And it is weird. And for a lot of these ladies, they're very concerned about their safety, especially because how do you know where I'm at? You know,
that's a good point.
And she says, stalkers, which, autograph seekers trying to, if some dude's got 40 of your pictures and a Sharpie ready to go, he just wants your autograph because he wants to sell it. He doesn't want it to say, to Joe, thanks for being a fan. He just wants your autograph that he could sell on eBay. Because if he signed it to Joe, he got to find some guy named Joe to pay for it.
Well, I just wonder how much her autograph gets. Now, maybe she's the cover model for Sports Illustrated. I mean, I don't know because I don't do that and I don't sell autographs. But she says there's at least 10 middle-aged men waiting for me, and they harass me. Now, I don't know what kind of harassment that is, but when you say it's money, I'm sure that it is, but I'm sure there's some creepers out there, too. And look, you make a living the way you make a living. I'm no one to judge, but you do make a living showing off a very pretty body.
Yep.
And I'm sure there's some creepers out there that, I don't know, might think they have a shot.
Yeah, well, and again, she said some people are not fans. Sometimes I don't want pics. I simply don't want to be too close, right? But others are there. In this article, I saw it earlier. I mean, $50 at minimum, up to $1,000, depending on what she signed. So there's money to be made. And again, if you got a stack of 40 pictures, you're just trying to get them all autographed to make money. Sometimes she doesn't want to. And apparently when she says no, people get really upset.
Well, I wonder now, I mean, because look, if she was already worth at least $4 million, we said that last week, and then she's got the cover of Sports Illustrated now, the swimsuit suit edition. I'm sure she got paid handsomely for that. So, I mean, isn't it time maybe to have a bodyguard travel with you? I can't imagine how much that is or how expensive that would be. But if this is a problem, I would think that, you're going to have to write that check and make sure that if it upsets her as much as she says it does, then I think a bodyguard is going to be a necessity.
It is weird in this current era because we know females deal with this. Male athletes deal with it as well. Lance McCullers of the Astros last week talked about having to hire 24-hour security because of death threats to his family. He's got 2 young daughters and his wife, but has a bad outing and was getting legit death threats, and other baseball players have kind of chimed in the same. Most of the time, They don't talk about it and publicize it, but, they're getting 24-hour security to protect the family because you don't know if somebody's just firing off a tweet because they lost a bet or if they are serious and they've got to protect themselves.
Well, and especially, look, when they're threatening his 5-year-old daughter, which is just, the special place in hell for somebody like that as far as I'm concerned. It's ridiculous. But they have to deal with it these days. Unfortunately, that's something they have to deal with. And if you're Livy Dunn, I can't imagine her traveling by herself anywhere, whether you think people know it or not. I just think that, it's time. Look, between her and Skeens, I think they can afford a bodyguard for her.
Yeah.
So I think it's time to do that. If it's that big of a problem, then she needs to be traveling with some big dude who just will pound these middle-aged men that are wanting to harass her.
And when we've seen other celebrities and their security people get into it with the paparazzi type, and sometimes that's they're there. Imagine being on a flight from San Francisco to London. British Airways flight attendant. He went missing on the flight.
Well, first of all, that's the problem is he went missing.
You were really disappointed when you read this story versus the headline.
Damn, I didn't even want to continue. Go ahead.
All right. Headline, this is the reason Joe clicked the article. British Airways flight attendant found dancing naked in plane's bathroom.
Yes.
Yeah, well, Joe's going to read that.
Well, of course I am.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah. A double-decker Airbus A380-800. A guy was missing for a while, and they finally found him in the fancy bathrooms on the airplane, and this dude was dancing naked in the bathroom by himself.
Well, and what I liked, the writer was he was completely naked and jiggling up and down. Now, look, this was in first class. This was not economy. It was first class, so it was pretty schwanky.
Bathrooms in economy aren't big enough to dance in.
Well, are they bigger in first class? I don't know. But I find this interesting because nobody could find this dude. And, well, when they finally do and they find him, apparently he had done some sort of drugs, and he was pretty high.
He was
as high as that plane.
So they took the extra pajamas in first class, dressed him, and strapped him to a chair. And when they landed at Heathrow, the cops were there waiting for him.
You can wear pajamas in first class?
Well, dude, I've never taken one of these flights, but I've seen photos. And if I were to take one of these flights, I would spend the money to get there. But, they got those beds in there and basically little rooms.
Well, yeah, but
bathroom, showers.
Pajamas?
Well, I mean, if you're on a 10-hour flight, yeah.
I suppose. What kind of pajamas?
Silk, sir.
Are they the
I don't
silk?
know. I don't know. They're Scooby-Doo. Maybe they have the British Airways logo all over them. I have no idea.
Well, obviously we don't have these problems because we don't make enough money for stuff like that.
Last time I flew from Europe, it was on a C5, and the seat was a netting seat that you folded out from the chair from the side of the wall, and was actually more comfortable. There was helicopters and tanks on that C5 that you could sleep in.
Dude, the only time I went overseas, I went to Italy.
Yeah?
And we flew from San Antonio to New York and then New York to Italy. And I was in economy.
So Ken's 5 didn't.
No, they did not.
Pony up for first class to go cover the Spurs?
And when you're flying 10, 12 hours in economy, it's tough. So I just tried to get drunk and pass out, and then that didn't even work. It's a
so you had to pee
flight.
too often.
Well, it's a long flight. Well, not then. I was a lot younger then. I didn't have the problems I got now. Are you kidding me? So it's all good. Oh my goodness, that was fun. But I've never seen a naked flight attendant. Maybe that's on the bucket list.
Is it?
I don't know. Maybe might have to be. I'm not sure.
Just not that dude. He doesn't have a job anymore.
Well, no, he does not. He had a hell of a time though. I'll tell you that. Who you like? You got Oklahoma City winning the finals? You do, huh? All right. Well, apparently they're one of the biggest favorites in franchise history. That's interesting. We'll talk about that when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
When you need an electrician, Hill Electric is available for both residential and commercial needs. I've used Hill Electric for a variety of projects at my home through the years. Extra outlets are added in the garage because the builder never puts enough in there. A spotlight over one of the grills outside, dimmer lights in the living room. For over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. And whatever your project is, Hill Electric has the right service at the right price. Never a service charge, always free estimates. So it costs you absolutely nothing to figure out what it will take to get a project done. Whether it's something at the office, something for the house, call Hill Electric, 210-404-9074, 404-9074, or hill-electric.com.
The Morning Huddle.
I went through it, and they told me no one time.
They would never tell me no.
Oh, they will. Trust me.
Are you crazy? You think I'm an unfit cat parent?
You just had one die on you.
You son of a bitch.
Of the 2 cats you've had,
How
one of them's
dare
dead.
you?
You're batting 500.
How dare you?
I'm just saying.
You want to bring up the time that a coyote ran off with your puppy?
That's been years ago.
But did it happen?
That was a puppy. I didn't say puppy. I'm just talking cat right here.
The Morning Huddle with AJ and Rob. Weekday mornings 6 to 10. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know the Roo Pub is proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Did you know that 70% of divorces are filed by women? She's already thinking about it. I urge you, do not get caught off guard. I'm Gary Barton, owner of Barton & Associates, attorneys at law. Divorce is tough. It's emotional, challenging, and can upend everything you've worked hard for. But here's the truth. You have a choice. You can either let your spouse dictate the terms, or you can take control and protect your financial future. At Barton & Associates, this isn't just about getting through the process. It's about protecting what you've built, securing your assets, and ensuring you have the resources to move forward with confidence. You've worked hard for everything you have, and we're here to help safeguard it and avoid unnecessary losses. If you're serious about protecting yourself through the divorce process and securing your future, Barton & Associates is the team you need by your side. Call 210-500-0000. That's 210-5-million. Or visit TexasDivorce.com. That's TexasDivorce.com.
Principal Office, San Antonio.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ, J-O-E-Q, to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Mellow Mushroom has the best pizza in San Antonio. Mellow delivers the best pizza experience with their delicious dough, premium ingredients, and unique flavors. Delivering a higher order of pizza is the standard. If Mellow can make a pizza this delicious, imagine what they can do with munchies, greens, calzones, and burgers. Mellow Mushroom has San Antonio's best happy hour with food specials and half-off adult beverages. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Well, Trina, now you're in charge of ordering food for the office, so meet my mountain of menus.
So, this should be easy.
Easy as pie. You know the mathematical constant for a circle circumference to diameter ratio, pi? It's super complicated.
In that case, I'll be using EasyCater. It's got everything on one simple platform. Tons of restaurants, dietary preferences, even digital receipts.
But my mountain of menus.
How about I order us some pie?
EasyCater, the easy way to get food for work.
We know, Jason, as usual, we got a lot of stuff to give away, not to mention the fact that it is a Mellow Monday. But we're going to save those. As people get closer to dinner time, you get a little more hungry. Yeah, that's what we do here.
Hook somebody up with $50 worth of mellow mushroom.
That would be awesome. In fact, that sounds fantastic. But right now, why don't we give away a pair of tickets to see The Offspring? They'll be live August 24th at the Germania Insurance Amphitheater. Pretty fly for a white guy. Huh? I knew that one.
The pre-production meeting was incredible.
I didn't have one of those. I don't know what you and Pledge did pre-production, but I wasn't invited to that. Let's see. If you'd like to go see The Offspring, August 24th, all you have to do is be caller number, say, 11. I like the number 11. 656-3776, 656-ESPN. If you don't win tickets, you can always get them online at livenation.com. By the way, this is Live Nation's $30 ticket to summer, which is going on all summer. We've already given away some tickets to that event or those events, and now it's The Offspring.
It's going to be a good show. That's a fun band to go see live. You know, with the Eastern Conference Finals ending on Saturday, I learned something that now doesn't matter. So Saturday, Joe and I, we are in Dallas, go to the Rangers game, and then we're on the 8:30, 9 o'clock flight, whatever time it was, home. So we're at the hotel bar, or the hotel bar. We were at the airport bar.
We were at the hotel bar, too.
Well, yeah, but days are getting...
Yes, right.
But it was almost perfect timing. Halftime hits, it's time to board the plane.
Yep.
We board the plane. And trying to get the second half on my phone, and I realized TNT is not available on the free TV on Southwest Airlines.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It sucks.
It sucks.
But it doesn't matter because TNT doesn't have basketball after today.
No, they don't.
After Saturday.
Well, yeah, they're all done. And I didn't see this either, but apparently it was very emotional, at least for one Ernie Johnson, who got emotional with all of this.
Yeah, he very, very emotional at the end, the farewell to NBA on TNT.
Several years ago, I wrote a book called Unscripted, and I asked people to embrace the unscripted, not fear the unscripted. If I had written the script, the NBA and TNT would be together forever. It's not going to happen. But while I was disappointed and I was sad, I was not bitter. We know how business works. Gratitude is the operative word for me. Grateful that, since 1989, I've been with this company. No matter what you call the company, I'll always be Turner. And I'm grateful that I work with you guys. I'm grateful for all of the relationships we've built professionally and personally through the years. You just don't realize that until you see people here on the road and say, hey, this is probably going to be it. And you think back to all the good times you had. So I'm grateful for that.
And it is emotional, but that group is going to stay together. But the one thing about what Ernie Johnson said is they're going to be unscripted. And I'm curious, as they now move this show to ESPN, does ESPN follow the Turner model or the ESPN model? So you start watching the finals on Thursday, and you see the short segments that ESPN will have, and then all the commercials that are sold in there to pay for the gazillions of dollars they pay for those rights. What makes that show so damn good are those long segments that allows everybody to get involved, not, 38 seconds from Stephen A. and then Perk goes for 14 seconds and Malika's just trying to get to break on time in a 3-minute segment. If they don't have those long segments, that won't be the same.
No, it won't be the same. And that's what makes those guys great. That's what makes that the best pre- and post-game show there is. I don't care what sport you're talking about. It's the absolute best, and they're going to be missed. I hope ESPN does. I hope they give them some room to breathe. But I mean, who knows? Who knows what they're going to do? And it's going to be interesting to see. But I love the fact that they're all staying together. I know for Ernie Johnson, this was probably tougher for him than anybody else, just because that's where he's been for so long, and he's done a hell of a job there. So it's going to be interesting to see. And look, everything changes, and that happens. So we'll have to see what the result is.
And again, they are going to be on ESPN. That crew. The 4 that you've seen, but everybody behind the scenes that chose to stay will stay there. Although, as Shaq said, and Shaq was having a lot of fun knowing that he can't get fired today, they're coming to ESPN, or not coming to ESPN. And he uses some language you can't use.
I'm the youngest here. It's been a great run. It's been an honor. Chuck, I love you like the older brother that I never had. And if you say something, I will whoop your ass one last time on this show right now. Ernie, you came to my house in 1989, 1991. It's a big honor. It's an honor for me to be sitting up here with you, Kenny. The way y'all embarrassed us in 94, 95, you and Akeem, you taught me what it was to be a champion, and we're a family. I'm glad we're sticking together. And like I said, even though the name changes, the engine is still the same. And to that new network we coming to, we're not coming to F around. And since it's the live show, I'm going to say it. We're not coming to around. We taking names and we taking over. Okay? I love you guys and I appreciate you guys, but hey, all right? Let me see that #1 sign for the #1 show ever on TV. And we come over to take over that next network too.
Absolutely. I mean, and they know it. They see it. They know that everybody loves that show, and the ratings are huge. It's going to be interesting. Does that mean you can't get rid of Stephen A., can you? I mean, he's got to be a part of that somehow.
It'll be interesting to see, but maybe not. Maybe not. I mean, that group made Thursday nights on TNT different. Now, their pregame show and what they did at halftime, a lot more formatted than the postgame show that went until they were bored. But that's what made it great. Long segments, and that's very different than what we see from ESPN. But we have learned from ESPN that they will adjust. Look at the Pat McAfee show.
Yeah.
You look at Game Day, but when I think about the ESPN NBA coverage, this is the same things that I said when it was first announced. I mean, it's going to be different because the ESPN crew, quite frankly, is kind of boring. It was boring last year. It was, it's been kind of bad for a number of years. So I like that they're bringing them in, but they got to let those TNT guys play by the TNT rules and not the way ESPN and ABC have done it for the last several years.
You're right. They couldn't do the TNT model because they didn't have the talent to do it. I mean, those people couldn't carry a show that long and with those kind of segments. They just couldn't do it. But now you have them, so adjust.
But also, I mean, and you understand the TV business being in it for all those years. If the game's on ABC, and quite frankly, even when it's on ESPN, they, those post-game shows do it quick because you're getting the Scott Van Pelt. If you're on ABC, you're doing, it quick to get to the local news at 10. But the TV model has changed so much. But like when you were at CBS for years, like during the Final Four, like wrap up the post. I'm ready. We got to do the local news.
And it was midnight.
Or when Ken's Five would have the Spurs games. It's all built to be a lead-in for the 10 o'clock news. Turner didn't have that. Turner, it's a lead-in to what? A rerun of Law and Order? So go as long as you want, boys. That's what I'm curious of, what the new format and will look like. because ESPN is still trying to get to Scott Van Pelt, or if it's on ABC, to the late local news.
Well, ABC will be a problem, but I would say, and I know Scott Van Pelt's popular, but Scott Van Pelt may have to take a back seat, and they may have to adjust to that. I'm just saying, and no offense to Scott Van Pelt, I'm a big fan, but when you're talking about Shaq and Barkley and Kenny and Ernie, you got to let them go. You can't put constraints on that. And if ESPN tries to do that because they want to get to Scott Van Pelt, then they're going to be in big trouble. They'll be in big trouble. So I hope they know that, and I hope they adjust. And look, with the money they're got to be paying those dudes, geez,
yeah,
you got to let them perform, and you got to let them perform the way that they're used to performing.
And if they've all said, they're not doing like the ESPN car washes. They're not doing the get-ups and the first takes. And now they say that now, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Oklahoma City and Indiana coming up. Everybody's picking Oklahoma City. I don't think there's anybody. And, in fact, Oklahoma City in their franchise, they're the biggest favorites. I think it's like minus 800. It's something ridiculous. When you try to bet this thing, you don't bet on Oklahoma City, not to win the series, because you won't win any money. Put up 800 to win, 100?
Yeah, no, and again, it says in franchise history, they have gone twice before. Oklahoma City went, and the Seattle Sonics, because that's part of their franchise history.
You're saying they haven't been this big a favorite in the finals
in their franchise history.
Right.
No, they were favorites in 2012 and lost.
Yeah. Look, and I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk for Oklahoma City. I think the Pacers will – I'm not saying they're going to win the series. I don't think that. But I don't think it's going to be a sweep or even a gentleman's sweep. I think this thing goes at least 6 games.
I was thinking 6. I wouldn't be surprised in 5, to be honest. And we've got a couple of days to really dive into it and read all the stuff. I like the finals matchup. I'm sure the NBA and the networks hate this finals matchup. They're probably hoping it goes 3 so they can just be done with it. But in reality, with what Oklahoma City has done all year, and part of me wants to root for the underdog, but I've been on Oak City all year. I'm excited those guys finally made it. But I really like what Indiana has done. And Tyrese Halliburton, who did not win the Eastern Conference Finals MVP.
Yeah, that was embarrassing, wasn't it?
Yeah, he thought he did.
He thought he did.
Sorry, you were a vote shy.
Yeah.
He just talked about what it was like to get to the NBA Finals.
It's a special feeling to do it with this group. We got to the same spot last year, fell short. And, man, we just worked our tails off as a group to get back here. It's been a bumpy road with our start. And, man, just really proud of the resilience of this group. We had so many different guys chip in. We've been through so many things this year, and we just kept pushing. And like I said, I'm just really proud of this group.
And he should be proud of this group because they came together and they're a team. What I love is the best soundbite of this whole thing was from Miles Turner. He said, "What you see in Oklahoma City and Indiana, they mirror each other, but the super teams are gone."
I think it's a new blueprint for the league, man. I just, I think the years of the super teams and, stacking is just not, it's not as effective as it once was. You know what I mean? The new trend now is just kind of what we're doing. OKC does the same thing. Young guys get out and run, defend, and, use the power of friendship is how they call it.
The power of friendship. It's going to be a fun, fast-paced game, I think, in this series. And, I'm looking forward to it. But I think Indiana will give them some competition. Do I think they're going to win it? No. I think OKC wins it and they raise the trophy. But I think the Pacers will be involved.
It's interesting because you could look at Oak City so dominant all postseason. Indiana, game 1 against the Knicks. If the Knicks don't poop the bed, and credit Indiana for the comeback, how different the Eastern Conference Finals could have gone. Right? It's funny, all these national shows talking about all the changes the Knicks have to make. And Tibbs, does he get fired? I don't know that I agree with that. I mean, Tibbs made some questionable decisions throughout, always has, but that to me, game 1 changed the entire complexion of the Eastern Conference Finals. Indiana's damn good, but at the same time, the people that are mad that the Knicks aren't there, and their drought's at 40 years. God, you hear that, right?
Yeah.
And Cowboys at 30 is nothing compared to the New York Knicks at 40, right? And still, Tim Duncan is the last one to celebrate a trophy in that building, which I love. And that was 1999.
99.
I mean, when you look at it and you think about just how close the Knicks are, but for Indiana to get there, but they made those comebacks throughout the postseason. They made those comebacks. That's a team that has played with a lot of fire. And again, a lot of times I like to root for the underdog. And I just can't hear because I've been on Oklahoma City all year. But I just want Indiana to give them a good long series. I would like to have 7 more games left in the NBA season. I think we get 6 at the max, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was 5.
We'll see. I'm a little more confident in Indiana than you are, and I think it will go at least 6. And I with you, I hope it goes 7. I want to see a 7-game series.
Yeah, and I'd like to see 2 more wins for UTSA so they can get to Omaha. Quick update: Pat Hallmark will join us today at 5:15.
5:15.
5:15.
Looking forward to that. Although we got some special guests with Coach Hallmark and some Disney folks scheduled to come in here at some point in time. We're not sure exactly when that will happen, but we'll talk to them as well. In the meantime, the Cowboys kick off another round of OTAs tomorrow, and there is a running back apparently stealing the show, and it's not who you think. We're talking about that when we continue here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Guys, it is June. It is summertime. You got vacations planned, activities with friends, family. How you going to keep up with everything going on if low testosterone is draining your energy? The answer is simple. TRT with Synergenics and Low T Center. Go to the website, fixmylowt.com. Now, you see a lot of these online TRT services. Sure, sounds convenient, but is it really? You can spend hundreds of dollars and wasting time with unreliable test kits. Then you got to wait for days to get lab results, and that's before you even begin treatment. They say you meet with the doctor, but sometimes you don't even see an actual person on screen. You don't want to trust your health to a chat, do you? No. You want to trust the experts at Synergenics and Low T Center. They have been changing patients' lives for a combined 25 years, and they understand what guys need. And never a better time to start TRT than right now. The consultation is free, the T-test is free, and it's fast because they have an on-site lab to process your test quickly. And if you qualify, you can start treatment that day. They've got convenient locations all across the San Antonio area, and they give you the power to take control of your health with the option of white glove in-center care or medically monitored custom dose TRT at home. And if you're just looking to lose a few pounds, Synergenics and Low T Center make that easy with prescription weight loss medication. And you'll receive a free B12 shot on the same day. Most major insurance is accepted, so you have no excuse. Go to the website right now, fixmylowt.com, to book your initial appointment. That's fixmylowt.com.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Tuesday on the Morning Huddle, what do the Pacers have to do to take Game 1? There's only one thing we'll tell you.
And one day closer to the NBA draft, we'll see where the Spurs' minds might be at going into that. All that, plenty more. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
Here in Texas, we know that trust is earned and reputation matters. Since 1993, Thomas J. Henry dedicated himself to building a firm that injured clients can trust and that Texans can respect. A firm where no defendant is too big and no case is too small. Backed by a track record of success and a commitment to our clients, Thomas J. Henry remains the name you can depend on if you have been injured. Trust the firm that stands for you. Trust Thomas J. Henry, San Antonio, Texas.
Most of us go to the doctor when we're sick or need prescriptions refilled. But at the Institute for Functional Health, we offer a different and complete version of primary care. This means you will get the medications you need, but we will also put together a custom game plan to fix the root cause and allow your body to heal itself. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and we help people get off of medications. Call me for a free consultation, 468-1891, or online at iffhealth.com. You will experience a doctor's visit unlike any you've ever had. 468-1891.
Progressive knows not all rides are smooth. Meet Sarah. She loves her motorcycle. What she doesn't love is when it suddenly rains. As she sits underneath a bridge waiting for it to stop, she grows quite fond of the graffiti on the overpass. She really likes the one with John Hart's Claire and wonders if they're still together. Not every ride is smooth, but Progressive has your back. Get an online quote in as little as 3 minutes and see if you can save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
Classes start June 11th. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
That sounds funny. I just saw a thing that came up, Jason. This is the Blitz, by the way, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe. He's Jason. Tyreek Hill. Seen flirting with a woman in a pool 2 months after his wife filed for divorce, which I guess is okay, but does he have about 25 kids already?
I don't know if it's quite 25. He's got a lot. Him flirting with the pool, flirting with somebody in a pool, not a surprise.
Well, no.
Headline would the surprise would have been all these hot chicks are around and Tyreek sat off to the side, did nothing. That would have been a surprise.
Right, yeah.
You know, it's like the videos from Diggs on that boat in Miami last week, right?
Well, and you notice Diggs is at OTAs today in New England.
Yeah, he got a sternly worded text.
Yeah, Vrabel said, you need to get in here, son. There was a report today that I saw that could the New England Patriots cut him? I mean, I guess that's a possibility. We're talking about Stephon Diggs, but I think he needs to show up, and he's not the same Stephon Diggs that we are used to watching. So.
No, and again, it's the voluntary part, and I honestly, and I know it's the CBA. It's voluntary, but all these teams get mad when people don't show up. Fans get mad.
Sure.
Dude, you make a lot of money, and you have a lot of off time. Now, look, I'm all for using your PTO and using all of it and don't leave it on the table. But at the same time, if you're expected to be there, even if it's voluntary, and you're a team guy, especially at a new place, don't you go? You know, there's an article today. Steelers have 10 days left in their offseason. Is Aaron Rodgers ever going to do anything?
Move on. I mean, my gosh. Well, seriously, why are they waiting on that bum?
I think he's a bum.
Exactly. I really don't know why they're still waiting. And it's so unlike the Steelers to do this. I get that they're in trouble quarterback-wise, but man, at some point in time, yeah, I mean, you can't keep waiting on this guy. He's making a fool out of you.
Yes.
He's making a fool out of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
He is. And again, when he shows up, if he shows up and they start winning games, nobody's going to give a damn. And if he doesn't win games and they're losing a bunch in Pittsburgh, they're going to blame the offseason, just like the Jets blamed a trip to Egypt. All right. And Aaron does not give a damn what you
care
think.
less. And I wish the guy would do the right thing and just retire. But make the announcement so Pittsburgh can move on. Either if they're going to go with Rudolph or they're going to try to get somebody else in there. Kirk Cousins, perhaps. I don't know. But, man, Rodgers, his act is getting really old.
Well, and you wonder with these teams that do need a quarterback. Ultimately, Kirk Cousins could be in play. But Tannenbaum, who's on TV right now on ESPN, was saying earlier today, and I know they were, it's the time of year where it's all the spaghetti on the wall stuff, but the crowded quarterback room in Cleveland, and who's going to be the first one out? He suggested this morning that Kenny Pickett get traded to the Dallas Cowboys because that's a better option than Joe Milton and Will Grier.
What?
Yeah, well, I mean, but it got me thinking. All right, Will Grier, sure, because you need three. Would I rather have Kenny Pickett or Will Grier? But if something were to happen to Dak in September or October, are you comfortable with Joe Milton, or would you rather have a more veteran guy in Kenny Pickett? And, I think that is a real question that you have to ask. Joe Milton, all the stories last week about how great everything was and all the raw talent, but is he ready to start games in the NFL as QB2? Or would you rather have a game-ready backup quarterback like what you had in Cooper Rush? Would Kenny Pickett be the better option for QB2 and at least this year have Joe Milton as that third quarterback, emergency guy that's available on game days? Because let's face it, I do agree with Tannenbaum. Will Grier, I'd rather have Kenny Pickett than Will Grier. But if you had to go start a game right now with a backup quarterback, would you rather have Kenny Pickett, Joe Milton, or Will Grier?
Well, all of those are crapshoots. But out of those three, Kenny Pickett. I think I would rather have him. And look, he may be available. You may not have to go get him. All four of those guys aren't going to make it in Cleveland.
No.
Somebody's going to get cut. So if you're the Cowboys and that's what you want, or maybe the Steelers and that's what you want, although I don't know if they bring Kenny Pickett back, but, you wait for that to happen because they're not going to keep all four of those guys.
And again, it's OTAs, and, by all accounts, it might be Shedeur Sanders outplaying everybody. And granted, it's OTAs. And then you see a headline, Cowboys running back stealing the show at OTAs, and it's not who you think.
Well, and that's what everybody keeps talking about. The weakness is the running game. I'm not sure that it is. I mean, it's a hell of a lot better, although I think you and I might be a hell of a lot better than it was last year.
Well.
Okay, now that's a little too far.
I could fall forward for a yard.
Yeah, that's a little too far. But, look, they've got some talent there. I've been talking about Javonte Williams since he got there. This guy's got talent. Now, can he come back from a serious knee injury? That's the issue. Right now, according to most articles and most people, he is the projected starter. Even on their depth chart, He's the projected starter, Javonte Williams. But Miles Sanders apparently is standing out. And however you can stand out in OTAs, because I'm really not sure. And I think people throw that around. Oh, he looks great in practice. Well, it's OTAs. They're not doing anything. But Miles Sanders is a guy that had a lot of talent, especially when he was an Eagle. And who knows, maybe this guy has some juice left in him. And then, of course, there's Jaden Blue as well, who everybody expects some big things from.
And they drafted another dude, and then you got your favorite.
He is Gadget Juice.
Deuce Vaughn. Who he's not, because there are some that project Miles Sanders doesn't even make the 53. Deuce Vaughn, I don't even know if he's still there, to be honest with you. But when you look at, now granted, they're talking about Miles Sanders, and again, it's OTAs, but do you look the part? And at this time of year, do you look the part? And Miles Sanders apparently looks the part, more importantly, maybe in the passing game. They're described and reporters get to watch very little practice. Of the 3 days, they get one practice, and it's for a short time.
Right.
And the Cowboys have changed some of their rules. No video, no still photos. So all you can go by is what you're seeing on what little they give you and then what the coaches tell you. Now, it'll be interesting to see if Schottenheimer tomorrow when he speaks to the media talks about Miles Sanders. But you think about, his time in Philly, he was great. His time in Carolina, those 2 years were a disaster.
Yeah.
And, when Chuba Hubbard took his job, you go from a couple of yards a carry to a little over 4 with the same offensive line and the same offense, but he's a difference maker. His 2 years in Carolina, not good. But you wonder, he's not that old. He's got 6 years in the league, and he didn't get a lot of carries the last 2 years in Carolina. So, maybe there's a freshness to him and a little bit of an attitude that you didn't see while in Carolina. I'm with you with Williams, but I haven't put much thought into Miles Sanders until you read this article, and maybe there's something there.
I think there is something there. Deuce Vaughn lasted, 2-3 years longer than he should have. Should have never been drafted, for Pete's sake. That was a disaster.
It was a great story.
It was a great story, yes. It was a disaster and a wasted draft pick. All right, it was, because he hasn't done anything. But everybody talks about the weakness, and I don't get it, because I think the Cowboys have a lot of potential with these three guys that they've got, and Sanders, Blue, and Williams. And I think these guys, that running game could actually be pretty damn good. Because, look, even if Williams is slotted in September as the number one guy, you're going to use Blue quite a bit, especially on third downs, I would think, just with his game-breaking ability. So I think Schottenheimer's got a lot of tools there, I think, in the running game. And I like the Cowboys running backs this year.
Well, I mean, far better than what it was a year ago. I don't know that it's still a running back room that you write home about. And, I don't know any of these guys that are going to go in any single-digit round in a fantasy football draft. I guess it's possible late you'll pick some up, but depending on who else is available. But you look at a guy like Nick Harris, who spent a lot of time working for DallasCowboys.com and now is over at the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. He tweeted out, quote, "When considering his 6 seasons in the NFL, Sanders could have the excuse of looking a little weathered with his running style, but that isn't the case. He showed off a spring in his step and runs fluidly for his mileage of over 1,000 career touches." And if you know Nick Harris, he's not one that throws around a lot of compliments. And so his observations and positive tweets make you go, all right, maybe there's something there with Miles Sanders that most of us weren't thinking when he got signed.
Well, it's going to be interesting. And look, I fully expect all of those guys to get a lot of reps in preseason. And I think the Cowboys will have a decision to make, and I think it will come down to that. Obviously, training camp's going to have something to say about that, but I think those preseason games, especially for those running backs, is going to be important to those guys for sure. We'll see what happens, but I certainly like the stable. It's obviously better than last year. I think it was better than the year before when you only had, Tony Pollard. So I like it, and I think they've got some things in places that they can go, and I like the Cowboys running back room.
It's still a concern, but maybe not as big of a concern as we thought. Now, when we get to Oxnard and we're able to see that with our own eyes, might have a completely different tune. But at least right now, I feel a lot better about the running game, the passing game. I feel a lot better about the offense. Still have some questions on the defensive side. But also you think about, and we talked about this Friday with John Machota from The Athletic, as bad as things seemed defensively last year, your 4 top edge rushers were out for most of the year with injury.
They were.
There's not a lot of defenses out there that could survive that. Just like you can't survive without a real running room. On the defensive side, if those guys can come back healthy, then you're going to see improvement there. So still question marks because of health, but maybe it's not near as dire as we think it is.
I don't think it is. I think it's in pretty good shape. And again, health aside, because everybody's got to stay healthy, but say that with any team, I think I like the Cowboys offense. I really do. Obviously, the George Pickens addition is huge. I think Ferguson has a bounce-back year. C.D. Lamb's got to be happy. So I think that offense is going to be able to put points on the board. But you're right, the defense has got to do its part and stop some folks, especially the running game. That's still a question mark. Can they stop somebody else's running game? That's where we got to go and go from here. We've got some special guests coming up next hour. Disneyland Resort, they're celebrating their 70th year. That's incredible. We're going to have some folks from Disneyland, and I hear that Mickey Mouse is here. Mickey Mouse. I don't know if we can bring him in here. I don't have any cheese for him.
You're a dumb butt.
Yeah, thank you, Pledge.
Mickey.
There's rules with Disney.
Yes, there is, apparently.
We get to go take photos with Mickey.
Uh-huh.
But I don't think Mickey's allowed in studio. But a Disney spokesperson will be.
Well, yeah, the rumor is the mouth on that guy is terrible. They don't trust him when the microphone's hot.
Are you talking about you?
So that'll be coming up at 4:15, and then at 5:15, Pat Hallmark, UTSA Roadrunner baseball coach, will join us here on the Blitz. Lots coming up. Don't go anywhere. Plus, we've got Mellow Monday that is taking place, a $50 gift card to Mellow Mushroom. I look forward to giving that away as well. We're going to do all of that when we return here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know me, you listen to this show enough, you know the Rue Pub is my go-to spot. No better place to go watch any big game, any big event than the Rue Pub there at 281 in Redland Road with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. And when you go into the Rue, go hungry. You know the food is fantastic. I love the fried shrimp there. They've got great hot dogs, about 15 different burgers on the menu, the biggest and best wings in town. Great appetizers, great salads, and that kitchen is open late every day with the full kitchen available, the full menu available. So when we need a late-night meal, make those guys in the kitchen do some work and go to the Rue Pub instead of a drive-through window. Don't forget Wednesday is steak night. That nice ribeye, 12-ounce ribeye, potato salad, $19.95. Can't beat that deal. It is a fantastic steak. Rue Pub has happy hour weekdays from 11 to 6. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. The Rue Pub, next to the Angry Elephant, just down from the Big Blind. They're at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Rue.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville.
10-yard line, touchdown Vegas, what a wild finish!
Your home for the NFL.
Nigel, why does our office look like a casino?
I call it employee engagement.
Folks, right now is the ideal time to hit the jackpot on comfort with Quarter Moon's Lucky 7's AC tune-up. It's just $77 for a complete 7-point inspection.
Excuse me, bossman. I've got a good feeling about that slot machine next to your desk. Joe, I couldn't get an advance on next week's check, could I?
Call Quarter Moon Plumbing, AC and Heating for your Lucky 7's AC tune-up. Just $77. 210-651-5899.
License number TACLA 141074EM16004.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and My Lowe's Pro Rewards members can save even more with limited time deals. Right now, buy one, get one half off. Select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Primer and Ceiling Paint. Plus, get free same-day delivery to your job site when you order by 2 p.m. Offer valid through 6/13, delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Did you know that 70% of divorces are filed by women? She's already thinking about it. I urge you, do not get caught off guard. I'm Gary Barton, owner of Barton & Associates, attorneys at law. Divorce is tough. It's emotional, challenging, and can upend everything you've worked hard for. But here's the truth. You have a choice. You can either let your spouse dictate the terms, or you can take control and protect your financial future. At Barton & Associates, this isn't just about getting through the process. It's about protecting what you've built, securing your assets, and ensuring you have the resources to move forward with confidence. You've worked hard for everything you have, and we're here to help safeguard it and avoid unnecessary losses. If you're serious about protecting yourself through the divorce process and securing your future, Barton & Associates is the team you need by your side. Call 210-500-0000. That's 210-5-million. Or visit TexasDivorce.com. That's TexasDivorce.com.
Principal Office, San Antonio.
It is summertime in San Antonio, and that means you want a beer that is brewed for the summertime, and Karbach Brewing has you covered. Love Street is their blonde-style Kolsch ale. It is a smooth drinker, and it is great for those days out at the pool. Right now, the next beer in their Fun series is Rhubarbed. It's a fruited field beer, refreshing, vibrant brand, which used to only be available at the brewery. Well, now guess what? It's available for you all over San Antonio. Of course, Ziegenbach and Crawford Bach, those you're going to find all over the city as well. There's something for everybody's summer taste at Karbach. And they've got a lot of things going on at KarbachBrewing.com. They've got great giveaways, including some Love Street Air Force Ones, customized, designed by a local artist, get you looking good for the summer. And the great taste of summer gives listeners a chance to win a grill for their backyard. Show off your true Texan skills as a barbecue master. Grill up your own great taste of Texas.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
May I help you? I just wanted to request a late checkout, please. Of course. That's $30 per hour for up to 4 hours. Huh. Okay, but if you can offer a late checkout, then that probably means no one is staying in that room. So if it's empty, maybe I can just stay a few extra hours. Oh, aren't you adorable?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
We are celebrating the UTSA Roadrunners baseball team, headed to the Super Regionals for the first time in program history. Well, they had to beat Kansas State once and Texas twice to do it. Now UTSA will face off against UCLA in L.A. this coming weekend. Well, the Texas women punched their ticket into the finals in girls softball. They beat Tennessee today 2-0. They'll take on the winner of Oklahoma and Texas Tech.
Joe Reinagel.
And for the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Hope everybody's having a great Monday. It is a great Monday after a great weekend. We had a lot of fun this weekend, Jason and I. We're courtesy of the Texas Rangers and a few others, by the way. And so a lot of fun, but glad to be back here and tell you all about it.
It's always great to go to a ballpark and watch baseball live.
It is.
And so we went and worked on Friday, did the show from the stadium, Globe Life Field, which was fantastic. Then we had great seats that the Rangers hooked us up with right behind home plate. And it was fantastic. Just a great night. The Rangers kicked the Cardinals' ass on Friday night, 11-1.
They did. They did. Cards come back, though, in Game 2, win it 2-0.
Uh-huh.
And then the Rangers kicked their ass on Sunday that we weren't there for.
Yeah, we should have went to that game. We should have stayed all 3.
Well, I'm just happy they won on Saturday because it was karma against the Rangers that day.
Karma against the Rangers.
Karma against the Rangers.
Reinagel was breaking the rules, and somebody tried to tell him. Now, in all fairness, I didn't really know. I was kind of half-assed joking because I know this has happened to other people that were in that suite, but I thought it was playoffs and it was the Astros and they made them change. But apparently the owner of the Texas Rangers has a rule for those field suites right behind home plate because you're on TV the entire game.
Whole game.
You are not allowed to wear opposing teams' gear in those suites.
Right.
Those are the rules.
Uh-huh.
And I tried to tell that to Joe. He didn't care. He shows up in a Cardinals jersey with his own name on it. People kept asking him, who's that Reinagel guy? Me. When did you play?
Yeah. I got to come up with a good story. It's serious. I was in the restaurant and some dude says, "Hey, who is that guy?" And I'm like, "Who's what guy?" And he goes, "On the back of your jersey." I said, "Well, that's me." He goes, "Oh." Everybody thought it was some player that they'd never heard of, but I need to say it was some dude back in 1920 or something. I don't know.
We were coming up with good stories. Now, granted, there was a lot of alcohol involved in these stories, but you got to come up. He was supposed to be this hot prospect, got called up, game got rained out, we never heard from him again. Something along those lines. Kind of have some fun with it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do that for the next time I wear that. Obviously, it might have to be in St. Louis because they'll allow me to wear my jersey in St. Louis.
I love the rule by the Rangers, by the way.
I can't stand the rule. Come on. Are you kidding me?
I love the rule.
I honestly thought I was getting punked. So we're in the suite. It's probably about 10 minutes before first pitch, I want to say, roughly. And I'm in there. Minix is out in the restaurant somewhere. So it's his wife, Joanna, my wife, Maggie. We're in there, and this very nice young lady walks in and says, yeah, you can't wear that jersey. You can't wear the opposition's jersey while you're in the suites. It's a rule. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Okay, yeah, thanks. This is a funny joke. That's hilarious. And she goes, no, it's for real, and we'll get you some gear to wear. And so immediately I asked Joanna, Minix's wife, I said, where the hell's Jason? I said, he put her up to this. He had to have put her up to this. I finally, as she keeps going on, I looked at her squarely in the eye and I said, are you for real? And she says, yes. And I'm like, damn, I've never heard of that, but okay, whatever I got to do. And so I post those pictures on all the social channels, right? And I get all you guys out there, a bunch of keyboard warriors. You're not a true fan. You're a fair weather fan. I'd have left the suite.
No, you wouldn't have.
And you wouldn't have.
No.
You get in the suite. We didn't have to pay for it, thanks to our good friends at AA Best Bail Bonds. And once you're in there, you don't pay for food. You don't pay for booze. And
you don't pay for anything.
You got the best seat in the house.
Yeah, you just tip the guy.
You got the best seat in the house. So I'm not going to leave.
Wear what you want.
Exactly. So I said, okay, that's fine. If that's the rule, that's the rule. Now, I was still cheering on the cards.
So you look like an idiot at times.
I mean, people at home probably go, wait a minute, that Rangers guy didn't know what he's doing. He's cheering at the wrong time.
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic. And you guys would wear whatever. Now we got to figure out what to do with that jersey because I don't imagine you'll wear it very often unless it's back to that suite, although you'll just wear a shirt without a logo.
Yeah, I'll wear a generic golf shirt or something the next time.
If Albert told you to put on a Ranger shirt to go to that suite, you would say yes, sir.
I would say yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, I would. If he's going to say if that's part of the rule, that's fine. Look, I will because it's awesome. It's too good of an experience. And that's why, look, I'm the biggest Cardinal fan there is. And I even caught hell from some of Maggie's family who saw me on TV wearing a Ranger shirt. So I had to deal with that.
Yeah. Did she catch hell too?
She didn't.
Oh.
But I did.
Yeah, but she had to change shirts too.
She did.
And the Rangers, they actually give really nice stuff free. And I'm like, what a waste. What a waste.
I mean, the jersey was identical in quality as the one I was wearing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was stitched.
Had a World Series patch on it and everything.
It had all of that stuff. So we're going to figure out what to do with it. And we talked about it. And Pledge, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're talking about, I'd just give it to Pledge.
No, you'd swim in that thing.
We're going to do that. But, I mean, and look at Pledge and go, wait a minute. But we're going to do something with it. Maybe I don't know. I don't want to raffle it off, but some kind of prize or put it here on the wall.
Put it on the wall.
Yeah.
Put it in my closet. I don't know. There's all kinds of things we could do with it.
Not in your closet.
Now, you talk about experiences. A Friday night after the game, we go over to Texas Live. And let's say we're feeling really good. And we were feeling even better. And at one point, Joe decides he wants to ride the mechanical bull. Now, you've been there or places that have a mechanical bull. Normally, it's females between, 21 and 29. That's who rides the mechanical bulls. But here's 60-whatever-year-old Reinagel. I'm going to go. So I go up there, and I tip this guy way too much money. And he was like, they really don't want to see guys up there. And I was like, it's all right. Can he go 30 seconds? Go at least 30 seconds. And so Reinagel was riding this bull, barely moving. And until 30 seconds hit, and then he was quickly dumped off.
Yeah, they got rid of me as soon as they could, but somebody put music to that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because I had that posted, and one of our listeners said, this video needs some music. And so so I'm listening to it, and whatever they chose was one thing. And I was like, we need Pink Pony Club to Reinegel's bull riding video. I'm not talented enough to do that, but somebody can put that together for Joe.
See, I was back in my youth because, back when Urban Cowboy came out a long time ago, Deborah Winger and John Travolta, well, that was a mechanical bull, right? So every bar in the world all of a sudden had a mechanical bull in it. And so I used to ride that all the time. And so now Texas Live has got that there, and I can't go in there without riding that thing. I have to.
It was a solid $100 to spend, though, for that guy to make you go 30 seconds.
Well, that's good. Well, I don't know who's the dumbass, me or you.
Both. A liquid courage on both sides.
Exactly.
And your wife was like, just don't get hurt.
Oh, that's what she was. I could hear her in the background screaming. But there were like, there was like all these shiny women standing there looking at me.
They were waiting their turn.
They were.
Yes.
They were. It's a very.
They were waiting for you to get thrown off.
It was a very. If you're a single man, it was a very target-rich environment. There's no question about that. So if you ever go to a Rangers game or a Cowboys game, you got to make sure you get into Texas Live afterwards.
And the band was good. It was
really good.
That's what we need in San Antonio at the new Wemby Center, people.
Absolutely. That thing is a blast. It's a lot of fun. The whole weekend was great. So I had a great time. We got some Disney folks coming in.
We do.
They're celebrating 70 years. I thought it was more than that, but it says Disneyland Resort's 70th Celebration Media Tour. And rumor has it, Mickey's here. Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, because, Goofy started it too.
He did, and he will still be here after Mickey leaves. So we're going to talk to the folks from Disney, and we'll post some pictures of Mickey when we return here on the Blitz, a 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Before we go, though, I want to talk about Connecticut Quality Water Softeners. You've heard me talk about them, and if you haven't, let me tell you about them. They are absolutely the best in the business. I have one in my house, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. It is fantastic. Head and shoulders above anything that I have ever had. Connecticut has been serving San Antonio for over 50 years. All their products are made right here in America, and what I love about it, it doesn't run on electricity. You don't plug this thing in. It runs on that kinetic energy stuff, but it provides soft water 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it is the best. Your hair feels better when you get out of there after washing it. Your clothes feel better and smell better. The dishes look better, and all of the time you're saving your pipes. You're saving your appliances. It is just a fantastic product. And for a limited time, they're going to give you a free reverse osmosis drinking station that they will install right there at your kitchen sink. Bottled water right there at your kitchen sink. They're going to give you $400 trade-in on your old water softener. And how about some free money? 0% interest for 12 months. 0% interest for 12 months. You don't want to wait. This offer can't last long. Call Connecticut of San Antonio in the Hill Country. The numbers to call, 656-PURE, 656-7873, or you can get them online at ConnecticutSA.com. You know the jingle. Sing it with me. It's the last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE. Connecticut.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at TSAOG.com.
Have you ever closed your eyes and pictured owning a piece of the Texas coast? Ocean views, world-class fishing off of Matagorda Bay? Well, dream no more. This Saturday, June 7th, Driftwood Shores at Wolf Point is dropping the final release of these incredible coastal properties. We're talking 1 to 3 acre properties, all with ocean access for just $49.9. You heard correctly, $49.9. This gated community has a waterfront resort-style pool and cabana, your own boat slip and launch, even boat and RV storage, plus paved roads and underground utilities. It's the whole shebang. It's all happening this Saturday, June 7th. 1 to 3 acres with ocean Ocean Access, just $49.9. Yes, just $49.9. Call now for your private tour at 210-853-0389. Excellent financing. Don't wait another minute. Call 210-853-0389. That's 210-853-0389. Texas coastal land has never been this affordable.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ. That's JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
What He'll Never Have, the smash hit from Dylan Scott, appears on the brand new album, Easy Does It. The album also features the #1 song, This Town's Been Too Good to Us. This town's been too good to us. And Till I Can't, I Will. I'll do whatever it takes. Yeah, believe me when I say, till I can't, I will. Dylan Scott. Search, follow, and listen now on all music streaming services. Sponsored by Curb Records.
Testing.
We're live from Chick-fil-A.
This is Grant.
And this is Laura.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that sweet bun.
And that chicken filet was perfectly crispy and soft at the same time.
And that Smokehouse Barbecue sauce, it's a lot of fun. And the brown sugar bacon definitely had a little bit more pizzazz. Also, the Mac, one of the all-time greats. Man, I'm getting hungry.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and a Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things. People. Love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
I'm so excited. Listen, it's Disney, the happiest place on earth, has just entered the studio.
It's exactly.
And it's not you.
Well, what do you mean it's not me? I mean, you're grumpy.
I'm
happy.
Dopey, so
yeah, we'll go with that. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. The Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. And in studio, Claudia Duran-Burke, a spokesperson for Disneyland. You guys are on tour because Disneyland is 70.
We are 70 years old.
Now, it's been around. I'm not that old, obviously, but I feel like it's not older than 70.
Well, Disneyland is 70, yes. The Walt Disney Company is over 100. But Disneyland, we're super excited because we're celebrating happiness in 70 years.
Well, I think that's fantastic. And we just went out and we're taking pictures with Mickey Mouse. I thought he was taller.
Really?
I did. I thought he was a little taller.
Well, it's a matter of perspective.
Well,
so.
it made Jason feel good.
Yeah, no, I like that Mickey. That Mickey was fantastic. You're traveling around. So 70 years, obviously special celebrations. What all do you have planned?
We have so much planned, and we started, our celebration just a few weeks ago for a limited time. But, Walt created Disneyland for a place for your families to come together and for you to have so many emotions. So why not enjoy the celebration of 70 years of pure happiness?
Well, I'm assuming then at the resorts, at the parks, there's big celebrations going on.
We do, yeah. From the minute that you park to the minute that you enter the resort, we have everything from new music. We have, some new added elements to attractions, entertainment, food. So, I can go into all sorts of different things, but there is a lot to experience.
You had me at food. In all seriousness, Claudia, my daughter is now 26. It's been a few years since we've been to Disney. But you see other friends on social media, they go and they've got their kids, all the changes that have happened. What's new at Disneyland?
Well, for the 70th celebration, we brought back some amazing entertainment. And so, I think everybody has something different that they enjoy. My particular favorites are, during this time, we brought back Paint the Night, which is one of our parades. But we also brought back Wondrous Journeys, which is a projection show. So if you think about, projections on Small World or Rivers of America or Main Street USA, those are elements. But everything now is celebrating really Walt's heritage and what he has brought to Southern California, really to the world.
Yeah, well, no doubt. What I love is you guys still do the Super Bowl MVP. And he's always there, and so a big parade down there, and
Yes.
it's good. Well, I mean, it's a tradition, and a sports tradition, and so I love it. But everything about the Disney resorts is really about tradition that's been passed on for generations.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things, especially during this time, we're celebrating 7 decades of happiness. That when Walt created this, who knew that it was going to be this kind of an impact throughout the world? But, that's what we're celebrating is heritage and celebrating, a man that created something that really has just brought families together in all sorts of different elements.
You think about being in the theme park business. Your job, people are smiling. People are having fun, and they plan their vacations around going to Disney. On a day-to-day, what is it like actually working for Disneyland?
Well, we create happiness. And when you think about what that means, where, you have cast members who are there to make your day incredible. And that is really the joy of, when somebody's coming into the park for the first time, maybe from San Antonio or wherever the case may be, their job is to make your day the most memorable day possible. So no day is ever the same. Every day is completely different because you never know which guest is going to come in through the door.
When we went out into the lobby to take a picture, there was a little girl out there. She looked 3 or 4 years, and she was just so excited. You see that when kids that age and even older than that walk into the park and they see Mickey Mouse or Snow White or Goofy or whoever. I mean, you see that excitement on their faces.
You do, and you don't even have to be a little kid. I don't know. I saw you all walk out there. I saw the same smile on your faces that I saw with the little girl.
of all the, and again, because there's people that work here, they knew Mickey was coming, and they brought their kids in because it's Mickey, right? James Pledger. Our producer over there. Now, granted, he's a 43-year-old and he's really 9, right? I mean, the excitement that's, you're 44 now, sorry. You're still 9. But I mean, you look at it, that excitement that's always created. So even if you're having a bad day when you go to work, you can't have a bad day at work.
You can't have a bad day at work. And that's one of the most amazing things about, coming to the Disneyland Resort, any Disney park, but especially at Disneyland Resort. If I could be having the worst day possible, and I just know that, let me just walk along Main Street USA, and just things change. I mean, Mickey Mouse can walk by me and all of a sudden I have this huge smile, or any one of our friends that come out. It really does transform. I grew up with Disney, and I remember being a first grader and my teacher saying, "What makes you happy?" And we'd scream, "HAPPY." And now we literally would scream every single day. And now I get to be one of many cast members that bring happiness to their experiences.
You talk about Walt Disney, and I wonder if he even realized when he did this thing and started how big it would be and how much it would mean to families. I mean, like you said, 7 decades of families. I think we forget about him sometimes. You think Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, you think about the characters, but I mean, this was all in this guy's head, and he made it come to life.
He did, and that's really one of the biggest pieces that we're celebrating in this particular time, is that we are also celebrating Walt Disney, and that this is a man that created this amazing experience. So you'll see that from elements within even our merchandise, where we have 4 different merchandise that we've brought in for the 70th, and one of them is called the Vault Collection, and it's honestly specific about Walt Disney, where this is a notebook that is with his initials, because we want people to remember, this is maybe something that Walt would have used, or this is something that is created after his memory.
Claudia Duran-Burke joining us here in studio, a spokesperson for the Disneyland Resort as they are celebrating their 70th year. On our YouTube chat right now, one of our listeners goes by Havoc80, says he's going to Disney this weekend.
Oh, wonderful.
Which is very cool. And somebody else says it doesn't matter how old you are to go to Disney.
That's right.
How often do you see adults, just people going in, no kids? They are going.
Everybody. Yeah. It doesn't, honestly, age is a number. You could have, 80, 90-year-old folks walk through without their grandchildren or little people. It is for every single age group.
See, so like Ryan Eagle, because he's closer to that 80 that you just mentioned, closer to the 70 as you guys are celebrating. But we'll be in Oxnard for Cowboys training camp in August, right? So you're saying, you know what we should probably do is go spend some time at the park.
I think you need a boys' trip.
A boys' trip to Disney.
Mm-hmm.
So you get many like bachelor parties? I mean, is that a boys' trip?
That's not what she meant.
No. But do you get things like that, or is it mostly family?
You would be amazed. Yeah,
Really?
it's not just families. It
Wow.
is, it could be like, honestly, a boys' trip, a girls' trip. It's everything that you could ever imagine, because it is something amazing about the emotions that come out of this particular experience. Because what is at Disneyland Park is, so Disneyland Resort is not just Disneyland Park. We also have Disney California Adventure, and we have 3 hotels plus our downtown Disney. So each one of them have just a different feel. And so sometimes we really could have just, a group of teenage boys that are like, I'm going to spend the day at the park. Or, 40, 50-year-old men who's like, I'm just going to go and hang out.
Drink around the world.
Well, that's a different part. But
I know that's in Florida.
Yeah, that's a different one.
Yeah, but you look at it and you sit there and you think about everything that Disney offers. One of the things that's always amazing is just how clean it always is.
Yep.
How?
The magic. That's where our custodial cast members, that was important from day one when Walt had this idea and people thought, are you really going to be able to maintain this park so clean? And he's like, watch me, right? Like, this was the most important part, that we wanted it to be an environment that was always going to be welcoming and clean, where people could just walk through. And it's amazing. You could have a piece of trash on the floor and a cast member will pick it up and you don't even realize they picked it up. It's that magical.
Well, I would imagine the folks that work there, obviously behind the scenes and in the scenes, they enjoy coming to work, I would imagine.
They do. Yeah. And that's one of the things, right? I don't think we would not be where we are if it weren't for the cast members that are, bringing this magic to life. And when we say we create happiness, that is within the taglines of, what we are as cast members, that we get to create happiness. And who gets to get paid to create happiness?
Exactly.
Us.
Of course.
Well,
sometimes we do.
All right, Claudia, when I imagine you end up with more family members and friends that you knew you had when you got this gig, right? But when you tell people, if you're going to the park, here's a couple of things that you need to do, what would be the best advice you would give somebody going to the park?
Oh, honestly, I would say plan ahead. You download the app, you look at the website, so you can plan ahead, because you can't do it all in one day. So if you're going to only be there 2 days, then you need to know strategically, this is what I'm doing at Disneyland one day, this is what I'm doing at Disney California Adventure the other day. And then you have your go-tos. Like, my go-to at Disneyland Park is Big Thunder Railroad. That's a must.
Big Thunder Railroad.
Big Thunder Railroad. That is a must.
Okay, now what does that do? What can you describe that a little bit?
Oh, sure. So it's a roller coaster. You hop on this train, and it's a fast train. So it's sort of deceiving you. You're thinking, oh, is this going to go slow? No. This is fast attraction. But it is one of the classics. I think I love it because I used to go on it with my dad all the time when I was little. And so my dad would love to still go on it, but now he's like, I'll let the grandkids go on it. And instead he watches us go on it. But there's a plan for everything, and that's why you download the app, you figure out what is it going to do, because what is important to you may not be important to the other person.
Right.
So plan ahead.
Nice. Well, I love rides still, even at my advanced age.
Well, they got rides just for you. They're slow and they don't go upside down.
Dude, I'm a big roller coaster guy. I was on a mechanical bull this weekend, and I rode the heck out of that thing.
We got a Incredicoaster for you.
Okay, you see?
There
you go.
Do you have a roller coaster that would mess up his hair?
Incredicoaster. We still we got 2 for 2 there. Yeah,
that's a challenge. It sounds like.
Yeah, you got to go to Disney California Adventure on that Incredicoaster.
That's gonna be awesome. Your tour through Texas, just promoting 70 years.
70 years of happiness. Yes. So we are here, and tomorrow we will be at the JW Marriott with our inflation. We will have a hot air balloon. So that's a special event for tomorrow.
Can people come out there?
They can, yeah. It's at 7:30, and it'll be for about an hour or so, but we will be out there for just a bit.
7:30
in the morning.
In the morning.
In the morning.
7:30. Oh yeah, bright and early.
Wow, bright and early. At the JW.
At the JW. Oh,
Mickey and a balloon.
Mickey Mouse, a balloon, and lots of happiness.
Yes.
That's what it's all about.
That's exactly what it's all about.
I'm happier now than I was 10 minutes ago.
It's 7:30 in the morning. I'll check in with you.
I'm usually not too happy at 7:30 in the morning if I have to get up that early.
Yeah, I don't know what that's like.
I'm not sure
I have
either.
no idea. Well, Claudia, appreciate you guys stopping by our studio and have fun on your tour of Texas celebrating 70 years of Disneyland.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Claudia, thank you so much. I tell you what, that is just great. And
happy.
Happy. I'm very happy. We're going to do the rest of the show happy.
Always.
Happy. That's what we're going to do. Hey, you know what it is? It's a Mellow Monday, and it's getting close to dinner time. So I'm thinking we need to give away a $50 gift card to Mellow Mushroom because that's a happy place, too.
It really is.
It's a very happy place.
Give that $50 gift card to caller number, I would go 70 to piss off Pledge, but let's go 7 instead. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Caller 7, you win a $50 gift card to Mellow Mushroom.
Hey, let me tell you about my good friends at Stevens Roofing. Love Stevens Roofing, family-owned company, local company, and I tell you what, summertime is coming, and we've had a bunch of rain, too. Now is the perfect time to have your roof checked out, to make sure that everything's okay. Make sure that there was no damage from the storms that we've been having, and you know it's going to get hot, and that can cause some damage, too. Make sure that that roof is up in tip-top shape, and right now, when you call Stevens Roofing and Solar at 210-785-0994, they'll send out a crew for a free, no-obligation inspection. So they'll let you know if your roof is okay, or they'll let you know if it could use a little work, or maybe time for a new roof, or at least to think about that. They'll let you know all of that, and the best company to do that work is Stevens Roofing and Solar. And it doesn't matter if you've been thinking about putting a metal roof on your house, Stevens Roofing can do that. They do commercial projects as well, so if you've got a building that might need a new roof, they can handle that. They cover all the bases. That's what they do. 210-785-0994, or you can get online at stevensroofing.net. Either way, schedule your free inspection. Look, Stevens Roofing and Solar is keeping your roof in top shape. You don't want to get caught off guard. Get that peace of mind you want and you deserve. Call Stevens Roofing, 210-785-0994.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Tuesday on the Morning Huddle, what do the Pacers have to do to take Game 1? There's only one thing we'll tell you.
And one day closer to the NBA draft, we'll see where the Spurs' minds might be at going into that. All that, plenty more. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-298-2007. That's 800-298-2007. 800-298-2007.
Transform your water with Connecticut. For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station, $400 off with a trade-in, and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. Don't wait. The offer ends soon. Call Connecticut today.
Are you annoyingly inattentive? Do you watch a movie and then ask a zillion questions because you weren't paying attention? Do people ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep.
Come soon to Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale. Get a king bed for a queen price and save up to $700. Plus, get a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses.
Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Missions fans, level up your Tuesdays with AARP $2 Tuesdays at Wolf Stadium. Presented by San Antonio Sports Star. Unlock $2 tickets, beer, hot dogs, and more. Don't miss this high score deal. First pitch is 7:05 p.m. Grab your tickets now at samissions.com.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. These issues can be complicated. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
San Antonio, Austin, and St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
Were you uninvited to game night? Do you play board games with the ferocious intensity of an iron-fisted oligarch? Have friends left game night asking, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. There's still time. Come to Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale. Get here soon and save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic and get a $300 instant gift. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
I've ever been happier in my whole life than I have been right now. The good folks from Disney were here. And we got a lot of swag, minutes.
They did hook us up with some swag. We did take some pictures with Mickey, but Mickey couldn't come in studio. Head wouldn't fit, which is surprising considering Ryan Nagel's able to get in.
I know it. It's
but if
an
you're
extra
watching,
big doorway.
If you're watching on YouTube, I gave us some cool caps.
Yeah, very nice.
A 70th anniversary water bottle.
Nice.
Which is cool. Some popcorn.
It's like cheesy popcorn.
And
chili cheese.
Is that what it's?
Yeah, chili cheese.
Nice.
Wow.
Some Rice Krispie treats.
Yeah.
And and some bedazzled Mickey Mouse ears just for Joe.
Yeah, you never know when you might need those. I'm happy. See, put them on, you just smile.
Yeah.
I'm happy. Here we go. Now, Pledge will actually wear those out to the Roo Pub. So if you're at the Roo Pub, he will, because Pledge will wear anything.
I mean, you see him today.
Yeah, exactly right. No, it was great of them to come by. We appreciate the folks from Disney. And again, if you want to get up early and go out to the JW Marriott tomorrow morning, 7:30, they got some stuff going on out there for that. This is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe. He's Jason. Pledge is in there. I thought he had the ears on for a minute. It's just his headphones.
Yeah, he did have the ears on.
I think he likes them.
He does.
Dude, he's going to love those things.
He's happy.
We're all happy today. We're all happy today.
Dude, especially if you're a UTSA fan. Look, Pledge is wearing them. Pledge, walk over here for a minute. You got come in still. He's like, I'm trying to post.
Yeah. You look good, Pledge. You look good. See, you don't have to be masculine all the time.
I just don't know.
Got a softer side in there.
With Pledge's current look, he's got on the, what do you call those, bedazzled Mickey Mouse ears?
Yeah.
On top of a hat that says Morehouse Plumbing.
Well, that could be a sign.
I mean. That really is.
Morehouse Plumbing.
Yeah. Of course, Pledge walks in here. He's waving like he's in a Disney parade. All right, we need the camera to just, all right, come over here.
Go over there. There he is. There's Pledge. Hi, I'm Mickey.
What was that noise?
It's what happens when you put on those ears.
I don't want to know.
Your voice changes, and he's pledging to show up in a dress.
Gilbert says Joe should wear the ears to another Cardinals game.
Well, if I wear it to the Rangers game, they'd probably throw me out.
Well,
I'm sure they would. That's too close to somebody's mascot.
No, that's well, if you're playing one of the LA teams, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
One of the maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, you mentioned it. UTSA is celebrating today, and we're going to be fortunate enough to visit with Pat Hallmark, their head coach, coming up at 5:15. So you don't want to miss that. He's been celebrating and speaking with the media and over there at UTSA. We're going to talk to him here on the Blitz coming up at 5:15. In the meantime,
the NBA Finals are set. It's Indiana and Oklahoma City. Game 1 Thursday. You'll be able to listen to every game right here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. But what I find interesting is, there is no Game 7 tonight. There could be, except the Knicks couldn't get it done on Saturday night. Now, admittedly, Joe and I only saw the first half or parts of the first half of the game on Saturday night because we get to the airport, we're watching it at a bar, and then we get on the plane and quickly realize TNT is not available on Southwest Airlines free TV.
I didn't even think about that. Did you?
No,
I thought for sure it would be there.
We talked. We're closing out. We're like, all right, it's time to board, and you close out the tab, and it's halftime. Perfect timing because by the time we get on the plane, the second half will be underway, and by the time we get home, the game's probably going to be over. Except for we couldn't watch it on television. I had to keep refreshing my ESPN app to keep up with the score. Was doing that along with refreshing and looking at Twitter for the UTSA score. But with the Knicks getting knocked out, I find it very interesting, the talk, and granted, most of the national shows, especially on ESPN, originate from New York, and, like Greeny is a New Yorker, Mike Breen is a New Yorker. That is their team and the one that they are passionate about. And Greeny even said, probably last week, everybody knows my Jets fandom. I'm just as passionate about the Knicks, but NBA versus football, football is always going to win. But what I thought was most interesting when, the Knicks get ousted in the Eastern Conference Finals and there's all this talk, do they need to blow this up? Does Tibbs need to get fired? But it was Becky Hammon on one of the ESPN NBA shows that really said probably the most controversial thing this week about their superstar in Jalen Brunson.
But at the end of the day, they don't have a dude. You got to have a dude. You got to have a 1A dude. And they're missing that at the end of the day if we're just getting down to brass taxes. Sorry.
I didn't want to disagree with Becky today, but they do have that dude.
Who?
Jalen Brunson.
No, he's too small.
But here's the thing, and that's
Didn't they say about you?
But you know what?
They say that about you, and you're a Hall of Famer.
I got a philosophy. Can I say my philosophy?
Go ahead.
If your best player is small, you're not winning. John Stockton, Allen Iverson, Steve Nash, you could go down the list. Steph Curry is the only
But he's not that small. He's not that small. He's like 6'3".
But also, though, I mean, he's the greatest shooter to ever walk the planet. He's in an outlier class.
Okay.
She's right. She's absolutely right. And the Knicks, they have a long way to go. And they do, and they need some help. And there was talk about that earlier today that they ought to keep it together. I don't think so. I don't think they can. And the way Tibbs runs that thing is crazy because they got two big guys, right, in Karl Anthony Towns and Robinson. Robinson can't score.
No.
But he plays defense great, and he can rebound. And then Cat can't play defense. So they need some help, and they need to do some things. And I tell you what, props to Becky. And I agree with her. The differences in the little guys are huge.
Well, and again, I look at, one, hearing that from Becky Hammon is surprising, knowing that she was always undersized. But then again, I think about all the championships she won as a player. Now, she got close a couple times in San Antonio with the Silver Stars, but she's not wrong. But she's also saying, while Jalen Brunson is the dude, Cat is not. And that, to me, is the bigger headline. Cat was their big offseason acquisition. Now, maybe a second year together, continuity, it does matter. Maybe they'll learn how to play together more. But Jalen Brunson taking so much heat, but shouldn't it be a little bit more on Karl Anthony Towns? Because Becky Hammon just said he is not a dude, not the dude, and not. I mean, to me, while everybody took that as Jalen Brunson slam, I took that more as a massive shot at Karl Anthony Towns.
Well, I think Jalen Brunson got it too. I mean, she's talking about he's not tall enough, right? He can't be the guy, and so maybe that does translate to Cat. I'm not sure, but Jalen Brunson, as talented as he is, he's not a distributor. He's not. They need a distributor. He doesn't do that. Jalen Brunson needs to have the ball in his hands. He's a scorer. And that's the difference right there. It's the difference between him and an Ant or an SGA. I mean, you look at or Tyrese Halliburton. Halliburton gets everybody involved. He gets everybody involved. Jalen Brunson does not. And that's the difference. He's not a true point guard in that sense of the word. He's more of a scorer. And so they need some help, and they need help from a big guy. Same as the Spurs. They need another big guy. They need another scorer. It all works hand in hand. And, again, he's not the dude when it comes to that. Very good player, but he's not it.
You look at the offseason that the Knicks had, and we talk about how tough it is to win an NBA championship. And I can't wait until the Spurs are back in the conversations where you're pissed off if you make it to the Eastern Conference Finals and fall short. New York had a great season. And you think about the changes they made in the offseason to get here. And now there's talk about, do they need to fire the coach? Do they need to do this? Tibbs even talked about it. It's a big offseason for New York.
Like you would do after every season, you take a step back, I think decompress, you do a deep dive on the team, and then you analyze what you think you need to improve upon. And then, we have the draft, and then we have free agency, and there's trades, and then there's the internal development, and then it's the study and preparation for next season. And so it's a big off season for us.
It is. And he knows they need some help. They don't have the pieces to compete with an Indiana, for example. You don't. And if you got to go up against Cleveland again, I'm sure they're going to adjust, but they've got players. And the East, there's that top-heavy group that can play, and the Knicks can't compete with them right now.
Yet they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. And again, they had that big lead in Game 1. If they close that out, how different is that series? Are the Knicks going to the NBA Finals, or do we at least have a Game 7 tonight and instead of having to wait till another basketball game until Thursday? They need to decompress and then take that look at it and not make the emotional decisions, which is what the team will do. Fans are another case. And like I said, I just can't wait till San Antonio is back into that conversation, but going with what Becky Hammond said, and, even Miles Turner when he said, super teams are over, and I think that's true when you look at, one, the tax situation and in the fact that we've got a finals and neither team are paying the luxury tax. How do you build with rosters and salaries getting where they are, the tax situation, and still trying to win titles, and knowing how things are done typically in San Antonio? And so, this offseason, well, we got a dude, his name is Wemby, and he is far from small, Becky, so we check that box. Steph Castle, De'Aaron Fox, and then you've got that number 2 pick. And for the Spurs, all the different talk about, do you go get a Dylan Harper? Or do they go get a big? Think about what Becky Hammond said.
Or a shooter.
Or another shooter. But again, Dallas isn't trading the number 1 pick, although it's fun to look at all the different scenarios of, well, what if? What kind of package could you get to get Nico to make another dumb decision? But really, at the number 2 pick, the Spurs could take Dylan Harper, and I think everybody would be thrilled. They could trade that, and everybody's going to be thrilled almost without knowing what they get in return, because we trust the organization enough that they're not going to make a dumb trade. They're not going to pull a Nico Harrison.
Well, they made a good trade with De'Aaron Fox, right? So that gives me a little hope there. But, I just throw out the scenario about Cooper Flagg. And you're right, I think the odds are completely against it. But then all I hear is how great Dylan Harper is. And I've heard him compared 1A, 1B. Like, there's really not any difference there. So what fits better for Dallas? Now, if you're a fan, you're saying it's got to be Cooper Flagg. All I've been hearing about is Cooper Flagg, Cooper Flagg, Cooper Flagg. And we need that, and that gives them a little more hope. So, no, I don't think they're going to trade it either. But if that's the case, and you thought a Dylan Harper fit your team better, then why wouldn't you take Dylan Harper if, at the end of the day, they are that close?
Yeah, I don't know if they are that close. Again, Dylan Harper, for whatever reason, his stock has risen since the draft lottery. But all college basketball season, Cooper Flagg was the unanimous, he's going to be the number 1 overall selection. Sure. And Dylan Harper's probably going to be a great player. I don't think he's that close. if I'm Dallas, and I believe that everybody that means somebody with the Mavericks organization has said we're not even entertaining calls for Cooper Flagg. But for Dylan Harper, the Spurs, if they draft him, I'm going to be happy. But this is one of the
I'm not.
This is one of the weird times. This is one of the weird times that the Spurs can go need over best player available. A lot of times in the NBA, especially in the NBA, you go best player available and then figure out how to make it work in this world of positionless basketball. So I wouldn't be mad at a Dylan Harper pick, but they don't have to take Dylan Harper even if he's considered the second best player in the draft.
Look, I don't. The Spurs have the assets to go out and make some moves for some guys that are already in the NBA and are proven, that aren't going to cost you a fortune. I'm not talking about KD or Giannis, all right? That ship to me has sailed, although the Spurs, odds-wise, are still there when you look at that. I'm talking about guys like Cam Johnson. I'm talking about a big guy, and I'm just going to throw this name out, Naz Reid. That's what I think would make this team improve that much more. You give up all those assets for a Giannis, and then you're kind of back to where you are. You can go out and get guys like a De'Aaron Fox, those types of guys that fill a need, a shooter, a wing shooter, another big guy to protect the basket when Wemby's outside or when Wemby's on the bench, for that matter. Look, that's what this team needs. A Dylan Harper, as good of a player as he may be, and, I mean, you've got a backlog of guards. Mm-hmm. And then you're still in the same boat you were in to begin with. And so that's what I'm saying. You've got the assets now. You've got a number 2 pick that I think you can do something with, and you can actually get a pretty good haul for that. And that's what I would like to see the Spurs do. I'm going to be very disappointed if they draft Dylan Harper at number 2.
You know, I don't know that I've said this since draft lottery when we didn't win. We were so close. My guess is they trade 2 and 14 for something. What? I don't know. And even if they moved back and they drafted middle of the first round, I'm trading that pick. But the Spurs, if they were to draft Harper, I don't know that I'd be very disappointed, but I'd be curious what the other moves are going to be because, you know, they've got all these draft assets. Now, all the trade scenarios I've seen for Giannis, as fun as that is to talk about, I'm not doing any of the scenarios that I have seen so far because they're way too damn expensive when you're looking at all the players and all the picks. You're not getting both, Milwaukee, if I'm Brian Wright. You know, you can have players or you can have some of these, but you don't get it all, right? Especially for Giannis, his contract at his age, and where the Spurs are. I just don't see that as a viable scenario. You know, some of the Kevin Durant trade scenarios, all of them seem doable, and I would love that because he fills a big need. You know, you bring up
when he plays.
You know, well, I mean that's all of them. But you know, a Cam Reed, Nas, all Cam Johnson and Naz Reid, the same dude. Mix their names together, all those, but those aren't going to be. Those wouldn't be overly expensive moves either.
No. And that's what I'm saying. So you keep a lot of your draft assets, and you fill a need. You fill a need, and that's what I think. I mean, if you've got your base already, and everybody seems to think that we do, if, you know, Fox still has to sign that extension come July, and we'll see if that happens. Everybody assumes that it will. You've got Castle, you got Wemby, and you add a couple of pieces like that around them, this team is a playoff contender right away. Right away. You don't have to wait and see if Harper's going to be okay in the NBA. Perhaps he will. Maybe he won't. But you don't have to do that. You know you've got 2 veteran guys that come in here that are ready to play day one. And you go and you move, and all of a sudden the San Antonio Spurs, instead of, well, maybe they make the play-in, are all of a sudden play-off contenders.
You know, somebody I know at one point said being a GM is easy. And what makes this fun is everybody is a better GM than the guy with the job. And right now, we're all smarter than Brian Wright.
That's right.
On our YouTube chat right now, and you can chime in on the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube chat, Jose says trade Vassell, Keldon, and 14th pick for Giannis.
Yes, let's do that.
You know, everybody would do that today. Unfortunately,
except Milwaukee.
Nico Harrison isn't the GM of Milwaukee. Casey says only way you trade two if it's for Giannis.
Yes! But I'm sure Milwaukee might have something to say about
Yeah,
that.
if that's all we're doing. But every other scenario is out there. Jack Thompson, Rob's son, trade number 2 in all caps. He's screaming at me on text. He says, I have the trade recipe to get us into contention.
Let's hear it.
I've seen the little bubbles for an hour. I mean, he's still writing apparently.
Look,
so
I
he's
trust
sending
Jack.
War and Peace.
I trust Jack. Let's hear it. But I'm with him. You've got to pick that you can get a haul for. And you'll get guys in here that can play. And I don't like keeping the number 2 pick and drafting Dylan Harper. To me, he doesn't feel a need. To me, he may or may not. And I just think you can use that. And there's no better time to be a Spurs GM than right now. No better time. When you've got the draft assets you have and you've got some players as well that you wouldn't mind trading away. And I just think, man, now is the time. You draft this kid Harper, maybe he turns into something. I'm sure he will. But I just don't think that advances the ball. I just don't. And I think the Spurs need to do something that advances the ball and gets this team in contention right now, and there's no better opportunity than right now.
You're a better GM. Your trade scenarios. What do the Spurs do with that number 2 pick? I think these calls could be entertaining. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. What Jack just sent me, I need to take notes and come up with a flow chart.
Okay.
Apparently
I expect that ready.
He must have that in his notes section. He didn't just type that out. There's nobody that typed out all of that. But it's way too long. We don't have enough show left. We get done at 6 for me to read that text. It's way too much for a text. I'm not reading all that.
I can't wait to hear it. By the way.
Oh, look, he's calling in.
Oh, good. Keep in mind, Pat Hallmark will join us, the head coach of the UTSA Roadrunners baseball team. He's joining us at 5:15, so keep that in mind. Until then, we'll talk trade scenarios for the San Antonio Spurs. Put your GM cap on. Give us a call, 656-3776, 656-ESPN. Go to our YouTube channel, subscribe and like there. You can also comment there as well. And you can reach Jason on Twitter, at Jason Minix. You can reach me, at Joe Reinagle 210. We're talking Spurs trade scenarios when we return here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know, injuries do happen, and when they do, you can skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, strains, conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday. They have on-site x-ray casting and bracing. In fact, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, but best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. So if you're injured, get to Ortho Now. Learn more online at tsaog.com. That's tsaog.com.
Riding I-10 with the Blitz.
Nigel, why does our office look like a casino? I call it employee engagement. Folks, right now is the ideal time to hit the jackpot on comfort with Quarter Moon's Lucky Sevens AC tune-up. It's just $77 for a complete 7-point inspection.
Excuse me, bossman. I've got a good feeling about that slot machine next to your desk.
Joel, I couldn't get an advance on next week's check, could I?
Call Quarter Moon Plumbing, AC and Heating for your Lucky Sevens AC tune-up. Just $77. 210-651-5899.
License number TACLA 141074EM16004.
Calling all snack MVPs, it's time to huddle up with Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, the low-carb, high-protein snack with a flavor-packed crunch. From sea salt and cracked black pepper to hot honey, sweet barbecue, and more, these bold bites are ready to tackle your crunch time cravings. Find your flavor playbook at H-E-B and make every bite count, because when it's crunch time, there's only one snack you need on your team: Southern Recipe Small Batch.
Divorce isn't failure. It's freedom. And when you have the right team behind you, it's a whole lot easier.
Get your freedom back before Father's Day and avoid getting stuck with just half. Contact Barton & Associates now at texasdivorce.com. That's texasdivorce.com.
Have you ever closed your eyes and pictured owning a piece of the Texas coast? Ocean views, world-class fishing off of Matagorda Bay? Well, dream no more. This Saturday, June 7th, Driftwood Shores at Wolf Point is dropping the final release of these incredible coastal properties. We're talking 1 to 3 acre properties, all with ocean access for just $49.9. You heard correctly, $49.9. This gated community has a waterfront resort-style pool and cabana, your own boat slip and launch, even boat and RV storage, plus paved roads and underground utilities. It's the whole shebang. It's all happening this Saturday, June 7th. 1 to 3 acres with ocean access, just $49.9. Yes, just $49.9. Call now for your private tour at 210-853-0389. Excellent financing. Don't wait another minute. Call 210-853-0389. That's 210-853-0389. Texas coastal land has never been this affordable.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Mellow Mushroom has the best pizza in San Antonio. Mellow delivers the best pizza experience with their delicious dough, premium ingredients, and unique flavors. Delivering a higher order of pizza is the standard. If Mellow can make a pizza this delicious, imagine what they can do with munchies, greens, calzones, and burgers. Mellow Mushroom has San Antonio's best happy hour with food specials and half-off adult beverages. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 and Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
We are celebrating with the UTSA Roadrunner baseball team and all of UTSA because, well, the baseball team is headed to the Super Regionals for the first time in program history. UTSA will face off against UCLA in LA this weekend. NBA Finals, of course, are set. The Pacers finished off the Knicks. It all begins Thursday night from Oklahoma City. The Thunders face off against the Pacers, a game you can hear right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center brought to you by Centergenics. Book your appointment at fixmylowteam.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Happy Monday, everybody. And well, if you're getting off work right now, you made it. Monday's over. You done it. It's all good. You can go home, relax, and enjoy and get ready for Tuesday. I'm Joe Reinagel. Jason Minix is here along with James Pledger. This is the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. And we're allowing you to be the general manager of the San Antonio Spurs. What would you do with the number 2 pick?
You know, fans are mixed. I talked to some that will be angry if they don't take Dylan Harper. Others want to trade it away. And others will send you a text that's War and Peace long I mean, I'd have to be in a little room for a while to go through that entire thing. But Rob's son, Jack Thompson, calling in at 210-656-ESPN, who one day would like to be the GM of a basketball team. Because being a GM is easy, so his dad says. Jack,
it is.
I hope you have 3 flow charts ready to figure out the trade scenario you just texted. I got to scroll to read a text. I'm not reading that.
I'm sorry you can't read past the 3rd grade level, my God.
I mean, you are a UTSA grad. Congrats, by the way.
Thank you.
All right,
Jack, I can't wait to hear this.
Gotta scroll.
I can't wait to hear this, Jack. Put it out in layman's terms, will you?
All right. I'll break this down for Jason since he has trouble reading. So first, everyone wants the big splash to KD or Giannis. You look at the teams right now, they've got big superstar, i.e. Wemby, followed by a couple of Robins and Castle and Fox, and then you fill out the roster with a bunch of guys you can trust to play minutes in the playoffs. So that's the basis for this trade right here. So the first part of it is we're trading Harrison Barnes and the number 2 pick for Bilal Coulibaly and Corey Kispert. Bilal, 3-and-D guy, Wemby's best friend from France, so he'd obviously love that. Corey Kispert, knockdown 3-point shooter, and we're also getting pick 6 from them. So we give them 2. They can get their superstar guard and Dylan Harper. We get some good role players and number 6. The second part of this trade is we're trading Devin and 14 for Cam Johnson and their young big Noah Clowney, who doesn't get a lot of minutes behind Nick Claxton. So there we go. We get 2 great shooters, one in Cam Johnson, who jumps into the starting lineup immediately. Bilal Coulibaly probably would be fantastic off the bench or starting, depending on, how his shooting has come along. We got Corey Kispert off the bench, another shooter to pair with Julian to cycle in for that need. And then we get Noah Clowney, a solid backup big that can play some spot minutes there. And then at number 6, we're drafting Kamen Maluach, the huge center from Duke. And that solves our immediate big man problem.
I've noticed you've gone and edited your text message to me. First off,
you just couldn't see Callum Bali.
That's your
way
longer.
No, it's well.
You can ask Pledge. It was way longer. The one I sent him was way longer.
Well,
you been able to
it feels like you've shortened up what you sent me because now it's all on one page. So I don't know what all you edited.
It's been all on one page.
I like the fact. I like the first part of it. The Clowney trade part with Devin, why would Brooklyn want to do that for the 14?
Because they've already said they want to acquire another lottery pick. They want to rebuild. That does not involve keeping Cam Johnson around.
Well, no, I'm with you, but 14, everything that I've read that Brooklyn wants to do, and they've got a ton of first-round picks already. When they say lottery, they want to jump into the top 5. 14 doesn't cut it. They already have 2. That.
Well, they don't have anything on their roster that you could even combine to get number 2. I mean, they got to wake up from that sweep because that's just not even going to happen, whether it was the Spurs or anyone else.
Yeah, I just don't see Brooklyn making that move for 14. Now, Devin Vassell. Again, I think Brooklyn, because I know they want to move up. First part of your trade. And now you've got the 6, then you flip the 6 to Brooklyn. I could see that happening, but then you don't get the big dude from Duke.
Okay, if they want 6 and that's in the deal written in, you give us Nick Claxton, and you can have 6.
Now,
well, this is a hell of a deal for the Spurs. I'm telling you.
I mean, we need 3 more beers, sir. But
look, I can promise you, you guys have not looked at all the money and everything like I do every day. This would work for the Spurs, and we'd still be able to pay people.
I think it would work great for the Spurs. I'm not arguing that. I think it'd be a hell of a deal for the Spurs. I'm just not sure that the other teams would think it's such a great deal.
I don't know. I think Brooklyn could be had. I definitely think that first trade is definitely possible. I mean, Washington, who where even is that? Who goes to those games? You got to get some sort of star on that team. You've got the number 2 pick from last year. Give them number 2 pick this year. We could definitely, I think, get that done. The contracts wash out with Harrison Barnes and Bilal, so that's easy. So we're still at our almost $30 million in cap space. Okay, and if they want 6 at Brooklyn, I mean, Devin, and we'd have to probably throw in someone else to match contracts for Claxton. But Brooklyn wants to tear it down. I mean, what do they keep from keeping the same guys that keep them in the bottom once again? I mean,
I'm with you there, except for everything that I've heard, they're trying to jump up high in the draft with the lottery picks. And there was there was one scenario, and it was from a New York newspaper that had them trying to work a deal to get number 2 and giving the Spurs all their late-round picks. They're in the 20s, and I can't imagine the Spurs would want any of those. There's no value there. So it's the fun part. Jack, I know you study this daily. Go back to work, get your pencil out, and keep crunching the numbers for us.
That's good, though, Jack. And I know your dad likes that big dude from Duke.
Yeah.
So.
No, I mean, look, there were 4 guys playing in the Alamo Dome there in the Final Four that would all look good in the silver and black.
Well, even that shooter, what was it, Knuppel?
Yeah.
That dude can flat out shoot the rock, too. So, and obviously, I don't think he's a top 10 pick necessarily, although some mocks have him going in the top 10, but he would be good, too. So, it would be interesting, to say the least. We'll talk a lot more Spurs, and we got a little bit of time until the June 25th draft comes along. We'll see what happens between now and then. What's about to happen, though, in about 5 minutes, we're going to hear from the head coach of the UTSA Roadrunner baseball team, Pat Hallmark. He joins us next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know, if you're having any issues at your house with your plumbing, your AC, there is one company to call, and that is Quartermoon Plumbing, Heating, and AC. 210-651-5899. At Quartermoon, they're full service. Big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. No commission sales reps. They'll provide estimates and second opinions, and they have a great experienced staff that has earned an A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau. And at Quartermoon, they are green certified. And I practiced what I preached last week. Water heater was out. Couldn't fix it myself. Called Quartermoon. They came out, got it fixed, and we had hot water again, and you realize how much life sucks when the hot water heater is out. They were out there and got it fixed that same day because that is what they do. This time of year, you can't have your AC go out. If your AC is out, call Quartermoon. If your AC hasn't gone out, you want to make sure it's tuned up. Well, right now they have a Lucky Sevens AC tune-up special for just $77 that allows you to hit the jackpot with comfort. You see what they did there? A 7-point AC inspection to keep your system running cool and smooth this summer. Call Quartermoon at 210-651-5899, 651-5899, or online at quartermoonplumbing.com.
The Morning Huddle.
I went through it, and they told me no one time.
They would never tell me no.
Oh, they will. Trust me.
Are you crazy? You think I'm an unfit cat parent?
You just had one die on you.
You son of a bitch.
Of the 2 cats you've had, one of them's dead.
How dare you?
You're batting 500.
How dare you?
I'm just saying.
You wouldn't bring up the time that a coyote ran off with your puppy?
That's been years ago.
But did it happen?
That was a puppy. I didn't say puppy. I'm just talking cat right here.
The Morning Huddle with AJ and Rob. Weekday mornings 6 to 10. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
There's a reason Intuitive Services Group handles our janitorial needs here at 94.1. They're local and serious about cleanliness. From nightly cleaning to detailed floor care, they deliver. We trust them, and you can too. Call Mo at 830-470-3007. That's 830-470-3007.
This just in, the NFL schedule has dropped, and you know what that means. It's go time. Adam Schefter here with the Insider Tip. If you're trying to catch your team live this season, Vivid Seats is the move. For the best selection of games and seats, it's time to snap your tickets up now. Vivid Seats has great deals on great seats and the only rewards program in the game. It's no wonder they're the official ticketing partner of ESPN. So don't wait. Head to vividseats.com or download the app and lock in those game days.
The water coming in and out of your home is like laughter. Here in San Antonio in the Hill Country, it can be harsh. Now that's harsh. At the same time, those that know have a Connecticut quality water softener enjoy this. Smooth, soft, pure, clean water. The difference is astounding. Hard water? soft water. If you don't have a Kinetico water softener in your home, you're basically inviting destructive hard water to beat up your appliances, hot water heater, and every pipe in your home. And that's no laughing matter.
For a limited time, get a free reverse osmosis drinking station, $400 off with trade-in, and 0% interest for 12 months. Call Kinetico of San Antonio in the Hill Country, 210-656-PURE.
Kinetico is simply the best water softener you can buy, and that's why we say it's the last water softener you'll ever own. Don't live with. Live with.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE. Kinetico.
License number 38961.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Chargers sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Hi, I'm Jason Thompson. I'm a personal injury attorney, and since 1994, I've been helping people and their families seriously injured or killed by negligent drivers. My website is alawyer4us.com. I use that phrase because I know that there's no way a regular San Antonian can possibly beat a billion-dollar insurance company alone. You will need an experienced attorney to stand up for you and get what you and your family deserve. This month, my father will retire after 50 years of practicing law, doing what he taught me to do, help people in need. Stand up for the people that cannot. Use the skills you have to help the people in your community when and where you can. When an insured driver seriously injures someone, a billion-dollar insurance company uses everything it can to pay as little as possible. Every insurance company you have heard of has a very large staff of attorneys already working against you. If you or a family member has been seriously injured because of a negligent driver, call me, Jason Thompson, as soon as you can after a collision. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or check out my website, alawyer4us.com.
It's a very happy day in San Antonio. We are celebrating the UTSA Roadrunner baseball team.
God bless the birds up.
Absolutely. Off to the Super Regionals for the first time in program history. And joining us on the Buyers Barricades at guest line, Coach Pat Hallmark. I know you guys just got back a couple hours ago. We'll get into the games this weekend. Let's talk about the important stuff, Coach. How was the celebration last night in Austin?
It was fun. Yeah, we were at the ballpark for about an hour with family and fans, and then I mostly left the kids alone and told them to take care of each other and be careful, which they did. So it was fun.
Boy, that's great. Coach, and I know that you knew this, your team knew it, but I don't think anybody outside of San Antonio gave you guys any shot to go up to Austin and beat Texas, much less beat them twice. But you guys did it. You played great baseball, and you got to feel justified.
Yeah, we do, and you are right. We did think we could do it. I don't want to act like I knew we were going to do it, but we did beat them in the regular season the one time we played them. So our players absolutely felt like what we did was possible. And it just boiled down to, it's kind of boring, but it boiled down to fundamental baseball. We made one error in 3 games up there between the K-State game and the 2 Texas games, and we threw strikes. It's kind of boring. Nobody likes to talk about the defense as much in baseball, but that was the difference for me. The difference was the defense.
You know, as we visit with Pat Hallmark here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star, Slaw said after the game last night, while he was disappointed for Texas and his program, very happy for you, and he said, you guys are a real baseball team. And he said that and tried to explain, because, you're pitching, you're hitting, your defense, everything is there. When you hear that, at what point did you know this season that you had such a special group?
Well, it's probably two moments. come to mind in the fall when we pulled some of the new people that we got out of the portal and we watched them on video, and we had seen them over the year playing against them, a couple of the guys in different programs, but we didn't get our hands on them, right? Like, you don't really get your hands on them until the fall. So the answer to your question is, in the fall, I knew we had more talent than most mid-majors, even the last 5 years or whatever that we've had, and we've had some good teams. I was like, wow, these kids are big, strong kids, and the bodies move really well. These are power forward bodies, several of them. Ty Hodge and Norris McClure, two of the kids we got out of the portal, are the first ones that jump out to me because they're on the left side of our infield together. But another one is Nate Hodge, the brother of Ty. But so that was the first point, was about halfway through the fall. Like, the raw ingredients were there. Coach Aguayo and I were really excited about that because now it comes down to coaching and working and player development. And then the second moment was when we beat Texas. It was mid-March at some point, a regular season game. But we had a pretty good record at the time, but there was really no hang-your-hat victory. We did beat A&M, but A&M was a little down. But anyway, when we beat Texas the first time, people took notice, and our players and coaches thought, hey, this is perhaps an NCAA tournament team talking about us. That's when it really hit home.
Pat, I want to ask you, in that first game against Texas, you guys fell behind. Did you have to say anything to your players? Was there any speech in the dugout, or did you know that they just were still all business?
The speech was like a reminder. So one of it, we had three kind of keys going into the weekend, and one of them was like, bad stuff's coming. Like, you're not going to go win a regional at Disch Falk Field and have a wonderful 3 games, and you beat people 9-2 and 12-4 and 7-0. Like, it's not happening. We had that conversation basically all week. The Stoics would call it premeditatio malorum, like, get ready for the crap. It's coming. So that was the message. Literally went to the mound and said, the crap's here a little bit earlier. It's here a little bit earlier than we wanted because it was the first inning. But here it is. Like, this is what we knew was coming. Let's minimize. And we gave up 1 run and did minimize. And so anyway, that was the message.
Pat Hallmark joining us here on The Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. But once things settled down in that first game, almost like you guys go into cruise control. And then last night's game, and I watched it start to finish, Coach, you look like the more composed, better team from the start of that ball game. Did you feel that way going in?
Not necessarily, not going in. I just felt like it was another game. I didn't feel overly, hey, we got this, or certainly didn't feel like we didn't have it. It just felt like any other game, like anything could happen. When we threw the runner out on the relay, which was, I think, the third inning, where they tried to tag up on a deep fly ball to right, and we threw him out at third, that was my first feeling of, this has a little bit of a feeling of going our way. But that can change so quick. I think any coach will tell you, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, like, some of those feelings are scary because 2 minutes later you're like, holy crap, what was I thinking? But I did start to sense that a little bit. Then when we had the big 5-run inning, you certainly start feeling it a little more, yeah.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, your offense was fantastic. I mean, you guys put up a bunch of runs, so there were no their pitching is good, and it has been all year, but you guys didn't seem to have any trouble with it.
Volantis we did, the big closer for him. We couldn't get to him. I don't think I talked to the guys after the game yesterday because we'll see him next year, and I talked about making adjustments really for next year, which is crazy, but because I did not think we'd look good on him. I did not think we looked good on Volantis at all. He shoved on us, but the rest of them we did a good job. We had a good plan in place. Nowadays you can get a ton of video, and Coach Aguayo did a great job putting the plan in place, and the kids executed it for the different guys they had. I do agree. They have some good pitching, and Max Wiener's arguably the best pitching coach in the country. But I did think we took some good passes and we were ready for what they were gonna try to do. Yes.
Pat Hallmark joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Last night, 9th inning, you got 3 outs to go. Take us through out by out, pitch by pitch. What is going through your mind?
The first out was interesting. So I have a little ritual in the 9th inning. If it's a big game or whatever, I I do better if I walk around and clean up the dugout. So I was starting that whole process of just picking up some cups and cleaning up the dugout. And I'm still watching the game, but so the kid popped the ball up, and I went to look, but I was blocked. It was right down the third baseline. We're in the third base dugout, and I'm at the opposite end, so I couldn't actually see the play. The ironic part of it was that we had so many fans there that when Norris caught the ball, I thought he missed it. It was so loud, and there were so many fans cheering the catch that I just assumed he missed it, and they were Texas fans. And then he comes bouncing back into the field where I could see him, and I was like, holy cow, we got a lot of fans here. So it was just kind of an odd moment because it went, I thought he missed the ball because of all the fans, but they were our fans cheering it. So that was kind of cool. And then Rob got the next guy, and then Rob probably just got a little bit amped up on that last one. He ended up having a long at-bat on their catcher who's a good hitter, and then he hung the curveball to Ballou, who's a really good hitter. But, sometimes those home runs are rally killers. Believe it or not, when you're up by 5 and the other team hits a homer, it's not always the bad thing. It's the error and the walk that you want to stay away from. So actually when Ballou hit the homer to make it 7-4, but now bases are empty again, it's almost like if you're in the other dugout, you're like, oh, crap, we got to start all over. And it was actually a little relaxing. I know that seems weird, but when he hit the homer, I think Rob relaxed a little bit, and he threw his best stuff to the next guy for the third and final out and struck him out.
Visiting with Pat Hallmark, the head coach of the UTSA Roadrunners, who are headed to the Super Regionals. And, Coach, I'm on a website called UCLA Wire, and the headline is UTSA is UCLA's baseball's unexpected opponent in the NCAA Super Regional. Again, I think most people are going to think that UCLA is going to take care of you guys and go in there. This underdog role, is that okay with you? Are you good with that?
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather be that. I guess the only negative to it is, in theory, the other team has really good players, but we do well with that role. The kids embrace it; it's fun. They're used to it. Even in our own league, I think we were picked to finish 4th, and we lost out of 27 games. We lost 3 or 4 games the whole league play, so we're used to it. It's fine. Yeah, it'll help us get the chip back on our shoulder, which we need.
Absolutely. And I imagine a run like this will help with donations for facilities. I'm curious, Pat, had UCLA not won their regional and you guys are hosting, would you have been able to do that here in San Antonio? What was the plan?
We would not be able to host on campus. We don't have a facility that qualifies, that meets the NCAA specs to host a postseason game. So no, we would not have been able to host. And I'm glad you brought it up because I've been telling anyone that'll listen that I came back to San Antonio. So a little bit of a long version. I was at Rice for years when Wayne Graham had that thing going good. And then I went to Missouri when Wayne Graham was finishing up his career for a year as a pitching coach up there in the SEC. And I came back here to UIW and eventually to UTSA because of the recruiting foundation that's here in Central Texas and South Texas. There's great amateur baseball here. You don't need to leave the state. You can find plenty of what I call like that tier 2 player that Texas and A&M and TCU are not going to get. Like that player can still win. That's what we have on our roster. That's what we're proving. And the problem that I think the people running UTSA, they see it as a problem is they don't want to invest a lot of money into a program that doesn't make money. And now we're proving to them that we can. The product on the field will produce fans in the seats. You got to give the fans a seat that they want to sit in. They want to watch the product on the field. So now give them the seat that's worthy of the product on the field. And we'll make enough money to feed ourselves. We don't need football to feed us. There are some programs in the country that can do this. And we're in the middle of San Antonio. There's enough people here where this can happen. And I've never quite been this bold and blatant with talking about it because I hadn't done it yet. We hadn't done it yet. But now we have. So I don't mind talking about it. I hope you guys talk about it. We need to build a facility. We need to build a stadium that mom and dad and 2 kids in San Antonio that like baseball, they'll come out here. They support the missions, and the missions are from all over the world. We got a roster full of Texas kids that'll be here for 4 years. That people would much rather support that roster than a professional roster that's from all over the world. They don't know them, and they're going to be gone in 1 year. So, anyway, you're 100% right. We just need the people running UTSA to do it.
Well, I would assume, Coach, that this is going to open some eyes. I would think that. And when you look at it like that, I mean, a nice facility draws people in itself. And then you add to the fact that you're a championship program, 2 + 2, right?
There you go, 100%.
Not overly complicated. And, again, that new facility, whether it's the stadium, the clubhouse, all of it, because, I asked for a reason, Coach, because I know the facility over there is not up to the standard, and you guys are playing well above it. I would imagine, too, even a trip to L.A. this weekend, and then once you go win those 2 games and you're off to Omaha, that might be budgeted, but probably money they didn't think over there at UTSA they were going to have to spend.
Yeah, they'll spend it, though. We keep winning, they'll spend it. So I do appreciate the stadium question, by the way.
Well, I'm with you 100%. Before we let you go, Pat, I got a question I need to ask you. A little history. I don't know because you've been busy and the bus trip back and all that if you've been on Twitter, but I saw a tweet last night from J.P. Heath, the Rice Owls voice. In 1994, J.P. tweets, Pat Hallmark helped tear down the goalpost when Rice beat Texas 1917. Tonight he ended the Longhorns season, and there's a photo. I'm guessing you're one of the dudes on that goalpost there. Give us a little backstory.
That is accurate, what you're saying. It's a little embarrassing that JP put that out there, but that was 1995, and I'm pretty sure it's still the last time Rice beat Texas in football. But, it was an ESPN game, I think on a Thursday night, obviously in the fall, and I was playing college baseball over there. It was actually me and the center on the basketball team, a guy named Sean Igo. It was raining. A lot of the people had left. Not that there was, it was Rice football, so a lot of students weren't there anyway. But Sean and I were like, hey, let's go for the goalpost. So we actually got there first, and he's like 6'10", and he got up there pretty easy. And I eventually made my way up there, and we didn't actually intend to tear it down. We just intended to get on it. And as we got on it, the rest of the students that were there kind of made their way over there, and they started, basically tearing it down. It got kind of scary for a minute. But anyway, that is all true, and that's the story behind it. Eventually the goalpost came down, and that was that.
The iconic photo. So I'm curious, with your players celebrating last night, you had to let them have a little fun because they know how you celebrated when you were a college kid.
Well, they do now. They didn't know at the time, but I did let them have some fun. Yeah, I had mentioned we were 5 blocks from 6th Street, and we usually have curfew and pretty strict about what we're doing. But I did tell them, guys, this is the one night. Like I don't want to know. Just take care of each other. That was the promise they made to me, that nobody would be by themselves and they would take care of each other. So I hope they had a good time.
I'm sure they did. Well, the goalpost story, Coach, just adds to the legend of Pat Hallmark. And I hope that legend continues to grow as you guys go up to L.A. UCLA, not big fan favorites around here, Coach, so take care of those guys, will you?
I hope so. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Pat Hallmark, coach of the UTSA Roadrunners, on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond, online at buyersbarricades.com. If you want to see a photo of Pat Hallmark on a goalpost, I did retweet it at Jason Minnick. You can find it there, but it is a great tweet. The photo's fantastic.
And I know there's challenges to every university, but when every head coach is talking about facilities and the need for something better, somebody needs to listen and make it happen. I know that's easier said than done. But if you've seen the UTSA Roadrunner baseball field, I've seen better vacant lots than that place.
That's an understatement. And again, they're winning. Lisa Campos, think he was talking to you. President Taylor Amey, think he was talking to you. Invest in the program. Look at what he has done. You talk about doing more with less. Pat Hallmark is getting it done. And I know there's been some, the Roadrunner Athletic Funds and the different things trying to get a new facility. nobody expected this. And I loved his answer because I'm sure that's money that they have to budget that they never plan on spending, but they will. They will.
Well, of course they will. They don't have a choice. And going up to L.A., that's fantastic. And look, this is again. We've talked about it, Jason. It depends. You're going to be a big university or not, and you've got your university, UTSA, in a big time major spotlight that could even get brighter if they go up and have some success against UCLA. So it's time to stop thinking like a small school and start thinking about a major university.
And again, spend the money. Come up with the money. Find the money. It's a facilities race war, and then you add NIL on top of it. And you heard him. I mean, a couple of guys that he was able to get out of the portal that chose to come to UTSA. Now, there was a dude in the Longhorn dugout, the only pitcher not available yesterday, used to play here. It goes both ways. That tells me that guy knows how to recruit talent. And look at what they've done.
I mean, wouldn't you want to play for that guy? I'm just listening to him. He's along the lines of good coaching hires. I'm going to give Lisa Campos that and the folks over there at UTSA, because when you've got a Jeff Traylor and a Pat Hallmark and you've got quality coaching like that, help them do their job. And the way to do that is to give them what they need. That's for sure. You want to talk a little, I don't know, what are we talking about? How about a potential trade? No?
We could do that.
We could do that.
We'll talk some basketball coming up.
Basketball.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Football. I don't know, Jason. We'll talk about something, though.
Yeah, we can talk about baseball.
We got a lot of hot
because,
air.
The reality is, I mean, there's no NBA tonight. There's no NHL tonight, but there is baseball. And you want to make those games more exciting, make sure you're playing the Pick'em game at Underdog. Go yard all baseball season. Underdog is a leading place to make all your sports picks. Their app has over 100,000 five-star reviews, and all you have to do is download the app, start playing the Pick'em game, and choose higher or lower from, things like home runs, strikeouts, total bases, that sort of thing. And you can play for as little as $1. So download the Underdog app. Use my promo code STAR to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Again, use promo code STAR at Underdog. Must be 18 plus and present in Texas. Terms apply. See UnderdogFantasy.com/web/deposit-match-terms. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Tuesday on the Morning Huddle, what do the Pacers have to do to take Game 1? There's only one thing we'll tell you.
And one day closer to the NBA draft, we'll see where the Spurs' minds might be at going into that. All that, plenty more. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Did you know that 70% of divorces are filed by women? She's already thinking about it. Don't get caught off guard. Contact Barton & Associates today and get your freedom back before Father's Day. TexasDivorce.com. That's TexasDivorce.com.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and My Lowe's Pro Rewards members can save even more with limited time deals. Right now, buy one, get one half off select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams primer and ceiling paint. Plus, get free same-day delivery to your job site when you order by 2 p.m. Offer valid through 6/13, delivery by 8 p.m., subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Imagine selling your home and getting paid before and after it sells. It's like getting paid twice. Jason Minix here from San Antonio Sports Star. You can do that with Orchard. Orchard puts cash into your pocket so you can buy your dream home. Then your Orchard experts prepare and market your old home, including repairs, showings, even price-boosting upgrades. And here's why Orchard's the best. When your home sells for more, which happens 9 times out of 10, you get that cash too. It's almost like getting paid twice. That's why Orchard is the smarter, faster, hassle-free way to sell your home. Orchard can unlock cash from your old home to use on your new home. That's payday 1. Then you buy your new place, and once you're in, Orchard sells your old home for top dollar. You get that money too. Boom, payday 2. Learn how you can make more with Orchard. Start with your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check for your wallet first, before hitting the drive-thru.
$6.
Sorry, forgot my wallet. I have change, though. Here's 40 cents, another 40. Ooh, a bicentennial.
What's that?
Oh, gosh.
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sinks overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
I love Spurs fans, Jason. I really do, because they're looking out for the Spurs big time. This is the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Joe Reinagel, Jason Minix, James Pledger. The whole gang is here. I tell you, you got to love them. Hey, if you could get away with some of the stuff that's been proposed as we're allowing people to play GM, it'd be a hell of a deal for the Spurs.
Being a GM is easy when you don't have the job. And again, we'll do this, we'll do that. And I love Jack Thompson. Rob's son called in earlier, and he's got a lot of great ideas.
He does.
And I don't like to be that guy all the time, but when you're coming up with trade scenarios, make it make sense for the other team too. It's got to make sense for the other team too. Yes, Brooklyn wants to get in the lottery. 14 isn't what they're talking about.
They're not. They'd like a top 5, and as he said, maybe they don't have the pieces to warrant a number 2. But the fact of the matter is, then the Spurs just go to the next bidder.
Well, or there's multiple teams involved.
Exactly.
Which is part of why it is so difficult to come up with scenarios and try to make everything work, because, you might have part of the equation right, Team A working with Team B, but you don't know what Team C is or what Team D is. And every national NBA guy, from Shams to Windhorst to you name them, they're all talking about how wild it is going to be up to the trade deadline, where normally the craziness happens that first week of free agency. So the next couple of weeks, everything that you hear, there could be a lot of truth to all of it, but we also know a lot of deals get talked about that don't get executed. They just don't, for whatever reason, they're not able to get finalized.
Well, and that's true, and because it doesn't make sense for somebody, or at least they don't think that it makes sense for everybody involved. It has to. Look, the Spurs got lucky, I think, with Sacramento for De'Aaron Fox, and I know everybody's looking at that and they felt really good about it, and everybody does. I think it was a hell of a move for everybody. He just needs to sign his extension when he can sign it, and everything will be okay. But adding pieces, look, I'm not even talking about a Kevin Durant or a Giannis anymore, because I think either one of those scenarios would be way too expensive, and who knows for how long that's going to be. But I'm talking about adding some young pieces that have some NBA time under their belt, and bring them on this team and that fill a need, because I think that's what the Spurs need now. I don't think it's drafting best prospect anymore. I think the Spurs need to fill some holes that they're missing, and that's going to make all the difference in the world in my mind.
And I do believe the Spurs have the roster right now to the luxury of drafting best fit, not necessarily best player. Now, a lot of times you go into the draft, you're taking the best player available. And sometimes it's the best player that would fill a need. Right now, the best player that's available at number 2, if the Spurs actually keep the number 2 pick, which I don't think they will, but if they did, the number 2 player is Dylan Harper. That doesn't fill a need. There are too many other needs, which even if they just flipped with somebody and moved down to 6 or 8 or somewhere in there, there's a couple of dudes that are going to be there that you could get. And then what else are you getting? You know, the number 8 and what for somebody to move up to number 2? Because there's going to be a lot of people calling for number 2.
What do you take that a lot of ways?
What's that?
Yes.
Here we go.
Look, I think in this day and age in the NBA, you've got to have some pieces. And I know everybody says positionless basketball, and to some instances that's true. But the Spurs' weakness, just think about the Spurs' weakness. They need another defensive player. They need a guy that can shoot, and they need a big guy to either cover Wemby when he's outside or when Wemby's on the bench. They need somebody that can rim protect. So you look at those needs. Dylan Harper fits none of those needs. Brooklyn is ready to rebuild. They want to. They want to blow up what they have, and they have a couple of pretty decent pieces there. Now, what it's going to take to get them, I don't know. Washington's the same way. So what it would take to get them, I don't know. But there are going to be some teams out there with some nice pieces that would fit nicely here in San Antonio that you can get, and it may cost you a number 2 and a 14 perhaps, and a couple of players. But if you improve this ball club, because I know we disagree on this, I don't think this team as constructed right now is a playoff team. They're just not. And I say that just from past history of what Wemby and Keldon Johnson and Jeremy Sohan have done, and I just don't like their progress up to this point. I think you need to add those pieces and get them better.
See, and you and I disagree on that because I think the addition of De'Aaron Fox took this group from being a potential play-in team to an actual playoff team. Now, we only had 5 games where Wemby and Fox got to play together. So we don't have a big enough sample size. But I said the day of that trade, to me, that was the difference of the Spurs maybe being a play-in team to actually being a playoff team. So I think they're a little bit further ahead than you do, which is fine. What I'm curious of, because there are people out there listening right now, some that agree with you, some that agree with me, and that's the beauty of what we do.
Right.
You know, you can see that in our YouTube chat on the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. I wonder what the debate is like over there in the Spurs facility. Are they having similar debates with the guys that are sitting around the table and the scouts? Those that I'm curious, and we will never know because it's the Spurs, but I'm curious if there is this much debate going on inside the room. How good is Dylan Harper? Can we pass on Dylan Harper? There's somebody, I'm guessing, at that room saying, no, we have to get Harper. He's the best. Others saying, get rid of that number 2 pick, and this is what we need to do. And I'm curious all the different things that they're going through inside that room. If there is as much debate there as what we're having here on this show, you hear it on the Morning Huddle, you hear it with your buddies at the Roo Pub.
Absolutely, and I'm sure there's got to be some debate. I'm sure they do that. I just look, they're going to do what they feel is best for this team. If they think Dylan Harper's that guy, then that's what they'll do. If they think they can make a deal, then that's what they'll do. I love this debate, and we're going to have it. We got another 3 weeks of it.
Yep.
Before the draft, unless something happens before then. And the so-called experts, Shams and those guys are saying that week before the draft could be really active, and that's a time to look out for.
210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. If it's the same Frank that is blowing up on our YouTube chat, the president of the Dylan Harper fan club is now on the Blitz. What's up, Frank?
What's up, guys? Just real quick, man. So, like, after Fox and Castle, who do y'all want coming off the bench as the point guard or shooting guard.
Well, I mean,
Because we're already tired of Vassell, and I mean, Bromham's not even a rotation. I don't trust Wesley. I don't even like Champagne.
Look, I think Keldon Johnson showed a lot to me this year. And if that's somebody they want to keep, and I'm coming off the bench, I mean, I think he adjusted to that role, and I think he fit that role well.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think,
but I'm talking like the point guard,
Well,
like coming in for Fox or Castle.
Again, if you're thinking you're going to draft Dylan Harper and not rotate those three because Manu came off the bench and went to the Hall of Fame. Most of these guys don't want that role. There are backup guys, and then there are starters. And if you're a high lottery pick, if you've won Rookie of the Year, and I don't know Steph Castle, I don't know Dylan Harper, but and I don't know De'Aaron Fox, but I'm going to guess neither one of any of those three guys think of themselves as a role player. They're starters, and they're going to want starter minutes. And with the money that you're already going to give De'Aaron Fox, he's a starter. Steph Castle has earned that right.
Yep. Yeah. So why not Harper coming off?
Well, you still
Castle was the fourth pick, and he wasn't starting. He proved. I think what happened was the Spurs, they didn't realize how good Castle was going to be, honestly, and we got very fortunate. Really
they
good.
Picked him at number 4. I think they thought he was going to be good. That's why they picked him at number 4.
And he still came off the bench. He didn't start the season starting.
And I think a big part of that was a promise they made to one Chris Paul. And I think one of the reasons, appreciate the call, Frank, one of the reasons Chris Paul won't be back next year but still continues to plan on playing is because Chris Paul doesn't want to come off the bench. He wants to go somewhere and play and start. He said he did the whole role play thing. That's not his game. His game is as a starter, and he's not chasing a ring anymore. He's chasing minutes. And at his age, good for him, but that's one of the reasons, if not the only reason, why there is zero plans for that dude to be back.
No, he's not coming back, and I don't think he wants to be again. And if they draft Harper, I mean, why would you bring Chris Paul back?
Exactly.
I mean, you're going to have more guards than you know what to do with. Again, to me, what do the two teams, Indiana and Oklahoma City, have? Depth.
Yep.
They have depth. They ran New York off the floor because of that depth. Oklahoma City did the same thing to Minnesota because of that depth. That's what you want. And if you draft a guy, look, Dylan Harper, depth certainly adds to your guard depth, but you're still in the same boat. You still need a guy that can play defense. You still need a guy that can shoot from the outside. And you need a rim protector. That doesn't solve anything. And look, if the Spurs don't have to give up number 2 and Harper's their guy, fine. But I hope they make some other moves somewhere. And I'm not talking about big splashes. But I want to see this team improve depth-wise and improve in those two areas, shooter and big man. I'll be happy. Whatever they do, you find those pieces, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, on YouTube, Claymore said there's no big worth the second pick. And I don't think anybody disagrees with that, which is why I think that they trade that pick.
For a couple of players.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you got to get a haul for them. We're not saying give it away.
They're not going to pass.
No.
But, and again, maybe they draft a Dylan Harper. And, the commissioner takes a picture at the draft and the hat and all that. And then you find out 2 hours later that he's been traded. That's happened here before.
Yep.
All these 2 references coming back. There was at one point Pop's favorite player in George Hill. And the team playing in the finals drafted this dude out of San Diego State. And then we find out he's actually a Spur. All of those scenarios could be in play.
Sean Elliott got traded at one time. Nobody wanted to see Sean Elliott go, but he got traded. He eventually found his way back.
We don't talk about Detroit with Sean.
Well, I'm just saying, I get that. I get that. But I'm just saying, look, sometimes you got to trade. Derek White, for goodness sake. I cried when they traded that dude away. And look what he's turned into. I mean, there's a guy, man, if the Spurs could somehow wrangle that dude back, I'd celebrate. That would be fantastic.
He'd have to grow his hair back.
Well, you can't do that. Sometimes you lose your hair, that's it. Or it's just patchy.
My favorite thing, all this talk about too many guards, and he's like, if we could bring Derek White back.
Yeah, but Derek can play. He can play the 3. He can. And he obviously plays defense, right? So, I don't know. Look, I mean, I just, when I see former Spurs out there, like Derek White, because you see him a lot, and playing as well as he's playing. And I get why they did it because we got a 7'6" French guy.
Yeah.
I get it. But, I mean, sometimes you have to trade guys you don't want to trade for the good of the team. And again, here in San Antonio, we get attached, man. We fall in love quick. We want to get married and have it last for 50 years. Sometimes it doesn't work that way.
No. Speaking of work, you know what today is? June 2nd.
Yeah?
It's National Leave the Office Early Day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I think we need to leave early then. How can we bust tradition?
I mean, I know we have technically a minute left, but I think we need to leave early.
I think so. I think it's time because extra innings with Pledge is coming up, and he wants the time. He's got a draft list. He wants to play GM.
No, he does.
Of course he does.
You thought Jack Thompson's call was bad. Wait till you hear what Pledge is going to say.
I can't wait to hear Pledge, and I know you can't either. And Jason and I will be back here tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in with us today. We appreciate all your time. We'll see you back here tomorrow on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Riding I-35 with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Transform your water with Connecticut. For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station,
$400 off with a trade-in, and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. Don't wait. The offer ends soon. Call Connecticut today.
Don't let pain hold you back from living your best life. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. At Arasti, we're dedicated to providing fast, effective relief from pain. Whether you've been dealing with a chronic discomfort for years or have recently suffered an injury, our goal is to help you recover quickly. Our treatment is all natural, non-invasive, and covered by most insurance plans. With convenient locations nearby, relief is just a call away. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or on third-party delivery platform.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, we have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-931-3030. So if you've been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, call now. Find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-931-3030 to speak with a live person now.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey guys, are you or your spouse looking to lose weight in time for summer? Head over to any Synergenics or Low T Center for prescription weight loss treatment options. If you qualify for treatment, you can get a free B12 shot when you start. Offer limited. Book now at fixmylowt.com.
When you switch to Progressive and bundle your home and auto, you could save hundreds, and that's a surprise.